Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pub. Friday night. I know this is a bit unusual, but it's the only chance I'm going to have for it this week. So, welcome, and I hope you had a good week, everybody. I see I've got a couple people watching. Hopefully, people got the word that it was tonight, and would love to engage with everybody. Certainly had a lot of wild things happen this week with Donald Trump being convicted, 34 counts. I'd like to get a lot of different opinions about that. I know there's going to be many. So, yeah, man, we'll see. Fridays tend to be a bit slow. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here. Steve-O. Right on, dude. First in the comments. Thanks, bud. It's awfully nice of you. Just dropped some weed. Not revealing itself. Onward. Yeah, like I said, an interesting week here. I know there's some strong sentiment on all sides of this Trump conviction, so I'd really love to get some opinions out of all the regulars and maybe some non-regulars, if that's possible. I know my buddy Drone Tech did a live stream this week. Good, man. I had booted myself from his Discord server, and I'm back in. I had long enough away, so glad that he let me back, and he had a good live stream this week. A bit chaotic, but that's how live streams can go when you have people with a lot of passion about things. And it was a good one, as always. Check out Drone Tech over at Drone Tech Politics. I believe we can even find him, possibly, and let's put a link here for the guy. Yeah, that's the name of the channel. Well, wait a second here. Well, that's the name of the channel. You get the point. Check him out sometime if you feel like it. Hey, English Bottle Cap. What's up, buddy? Happy Friday. Thanks for coming, man. Peace. Hope you're well. Like to get your opinion about and yours too, just Steve-O. What it's like, what's the word, what's the perception of the Trump situation in the UK? What are people saying? What are people thinking? Always curious about my friends from across the Atlantic. What your own personal opinion is about that. Hopefully my sound is okay. Everything seems all right. Hardwired on the internet. Microphone showing good sound. So just gonna grinding up a little herb in my no-name grinder, which did have a name at one time, but I already forget it. Just Steve-O, cannabis is legal here, so I don't know if it is where you are, but here in the state of Massachusetts, it is legal, and that's just great. And that's how it should be, just a plant. Nothing about it besides the fact that it's illegal that makes it, a bad thing. Oh, yeah. Right on, dude. Cool. Glad to hear it. Yeah. It's a good thing. I've Hey, Last Dance, how you doing, man? Come to find that some of the legal dispensaries may not have the best pot, but they have plenty of it. So, and the prices are coming down for those who choose to go that route and purchase it. Hope you're well, Last Dance. Jump on here if you want, whenever. You're welcome. Of course, anybody is just Steve-O or English Bottle Cap. I know it's not your thing to probably join in on cam, but always welcome to check it out. What's up, man? Good to see you. I'm going to open the door and get some fresh air in here. It's a bit warm. I shall return. I'm going about 6 feet that way. Doing well. Good. We're up for a fine stretch of weather here in the Bay State. Coming up, going to be just beautiful. So I hope you get to enjoy it, Steve-O. I know I will. Not watched any mainstream media about Trump yet, but a couple of political commentators on YouTube I occasionally watch. Reckons it was a political prosecution that could well backfire. There you go, wife. I wouldn't have said that, but thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. I do think it will. I think Trump is a jackass. Hey, RW. Thanks, Last Dance. I think he's a jackass, but I do think this was a targeted thing to him specifically. So yeah, I don't agree with him. I don't like him, but I generally don't like this prosecution. Although, as was pointed out to me earlier, I don't believe it was. Hi, thank you, Sammy. How you doing, hon? I don't think it was some sort of kangaroo court. I do think he was judged legitimately. I just generally think it was a targeted thing because they don't like him. And yeah, whatever. Going to start with that, and we'll get into it quite a bit more when people get on screen here. Hey, that's life. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming. That's life. Right on top of all the news on his Twitter feed. Checking out all the breaking news over there, and also he gets into some pretty trippy stuff on his YouTube channel. Check it out. It's fun. Good people over there too. Stony. Wifey. Yep. In the house. I'm gonna go ahead and get this joint lit up. Last Dance sound all right? All right. No problem. Anytime, that's life. You're a good guy. I feel like, channels get popular. YouTube's a funny thing. How channels get popular. I know there are some channels that are very popular that YouTube doesn't like, but they tolerate them because they make money for YouTube. So, like, for example, not limited to Brandon Herrera, the AK guy. Don't really like him, but I love his channel. Very entertaining. Demolition Ranch, Grand Thumb, they're all gun tubers. Kentucky Ballistics, but they've surpassed YouTube's dislike for them and made YouTube have to like them from a business standpoint. But never forget FPS Russia, one of the originals and the all-time greatest fucking gun tuber of all time. And he did a lot on Live Leak as well. He got sent up the river for a half an ounce of weed, and he had guns, legal guns. But because he was caught with both of them, thanks, bud. He got canceled for life. He was a reckless, psychopathic, amazing, so entertaining YouTuber, live leaker, whatever. I think it was called FPS Russia. Greg Paul Martin said he thought that it will be the end for Donald Trump's election campaign and will open the way for another Republican candidate. I disagree. I think it's going to just embolden his passionate fan base, which is already emboldened. They're going to be just, I think he brought in like $40 million in like 12 hours or something after the conviction. So Biscuit as well. The last time he came on here, he had some booze and got a little buzzed up. And he threw out some apologies the next day and haven't seen him since. So hopefully Biscuit comes back. He doesn't have to drink. He can just hang around and chat. But I have a feeling he's on the healthy train right now. And he doesn't want to be here getting all sauced up and getting fat and happy again like we do. Can't check that out. On the water wagon, exactly. Probably. He might be. Yeah, for the most part. But yeah, he'll be back. He always comes back. He's like Pacino, you know, in The Godfather. Tries to get out, but we pull him back in. He'll come back. You can remove the banner down below there. That's cool. I did DM based. Let him know what's going on. There you go, English. Possibly Cupid with his arrow might have, I don't know, whatever. It's funny, the little things though with YouTube. Like, I feel like somebody does watch this on occasion and, like, I don't know, get some targeted audience. Stuff. I think on occasion an actual YouTube employee has watched this. Pecan pralines, yeah. Fuck yeah. I think we call that is that a turtle? No? Yeah. Okay. I know I've heard of a praline before. You know what? It's a really funny looking word. Praline. 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 Looks like a nut covered in something. Like, it's a stretch to pronounce that praline, but that's what it is. Candied with sugar. Got you. Yeah, there's guys that, you know, in the city, or at least there used to be, that would, you know, cook those things up and you could get them, you know, fresh, hot, yada, yada, on your walkabout. Except they were never the ones that were. Ooh, yeah. I mean, I would take a pecan by itself, probably. Just to be just as happy. I like a It's not going to sound right, but I like a good nut. Haven't. Actually, that's a pint of wine, and it was full when I got down here. So could be an early night. We'll see. Had some chicken parm earlier, so uh, the wine accompanied the parm very well. So I topped the glass off on the way down. Jameson, last hand says to Jamie. Yeah, I generally expect Fridays to be slow, so plus it's my birthday. No, I bet you he's got probably 7, 8 shots left. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's a tasty joint. Will say I was surprised to see the verdict come out on Thursday. I was at a rugby game, a rugby match. My nephews dominated. It was awesome. They shut out the other team. It was an insane score. One of them needed a stitch in his head. And it's high school rugby. These kids are killing each other. It was great. One of them almost got in a fist fight. The other one got a stitch. It's a good sport. Really starting to understand it. And it's cool to have family that's in the top 3 best players on the team. Yeah. Right. The Turtles have caramel. I got you. It's cool. Rugby, how they peel off as they're running forward. A guy will, like, as they're passing the ball to the side, you'll have, I don't know what they're called. I'm going to call them fucking receivers. They peel off and they shovel the ball to the right. Laterals, yeah. And it's very cool. Very fun. If you drop the ball, it goes to the other team. I'm starting to learn all the rules. Wherever you score, that's where the kick gets lined up for extra point. If you score in the middle of the it's a scrum. It's not like the New Zealand All Blacks, but they're definitely pushing. I mean, there's real tackling without pulling any punches. They're tackling without pads. Interestingly, there was a girl on the other team playing against all boys. No, it was an actual girl. But that team didn't have a female rugby team, so she gets to play with the boys. She did make one tackle, which was kind of cool. She wrapped somebody up. Much respect to her. I respect when a woman goes on the rugby field and plays with guys or a girl with boys. It's hardcore, man. The other way around, it's fucking lame, dude. But, because, they're biologically not going to have the strength and or testosterone that us men have. Obviously, It's the thing. I know wife was cracking up at the move where on the, let's call it inbound pass, because I'm so green with this sport. I don't know what it's called. The kid on the side throws it in and the teams hoist the guy up in the air. Fucking hilarious. I mean, by the time they put her in RW, it was about 70-0. So it's not like anyone was going to go and take her head off. She was in there as sort of like, hey, get in the game, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Other team was getting chippy, though. A couple fights broke out. one one kid on my nephew's team got his shirt ripped. And I asked the coach, "Do you got a sewing machine for that, coach?" And the coach looked at me and said, "Yes, I do. I'm going to sew it up tonight because this is town high school crap. You know, these guys get one shirt. So, yeah, coach is fixing the shirt, or his wife is, one or the other. Fun times, though. You know, it's a wholesome atmosphere. You're not out there like a college game. Like I've been to a few. You're probably out there partying down, and it's high school. It's wholesome, sort of. Yeah, my nephews are hookers, I think. One of them is outside hooker. He's super fast. I mean, I call him Wheels. And the other one has got great hands. He's always back to catch a kick, and he starts to run forward. So, yeah, it's a bizarre sport. You watch it, you'll see touches of American football. Of course, that's what it is based on, but it's totally not. I don't know cricket at all. Oh, yeah, I do. I've seen some cricket. Cricket looks wild, man. Yeah, fucking big paddle, ball as hard as a rock. I don't know anything about it, but John Boy Media, I know Last Dance is familiar with them. They're a fun follow on Twitter as well as YouTube. One of those guys is a cricket fan, and every once in a while they'll go through a stream of cricket highlights, which is kind of fun. Anything, you know, a good athlete is a good athlete. Anything goes somewhat, yeah. But again, I don't know anything about cricket. Boston Celtics made it to the finals, I think, right? Last Dance, did they? I don't know. I think so. He doesn't know either. Well, we made it, boys. The Boston Celtics. Last time I paid attention to the Celtics was when they had, and you think I'm going to say Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. No. When they had Paul Pierce and they had Kevin Garnett. That was a bomb team. Those guys were tough. They were fighters. Paul Pierce nearly got his life ended at the famous Chez Vu nightclub on Blue Hill Avenue in Roxbury with a knife to the throat. Came back, didn't die, and ended up being still a great basketball player after that. Great nickname, too. Big Ugly. Gotta love that. But that was the last team. No penalties in rugby. Oh, there was one in the whole game. And it was a flagrant, hit. In fact, one of my nephews just totally did a wrestling takedown on a kid after the ball was out of the play and didn't get called. So I know, right? The fucking I wore that. I was waiting for someone to say something. Topple, how you doing, buddy? I was looking at the t-shirts. I'm like, Slayer, no. Grateful Dead, no. Camo sleeves, yes. Because, I don't know. It just seems right for the time. There are penalties. I just didn't see a lot getting called. Then again, I don't really know what's happening, so it was pretty mellow. I know that the game started getting super chippy and little fights were breaking out. The ref ended it with 3 minutes left, and the score was in the mid-70s to 0. So in Little League, we used to call that the mercy rule. Going to, yeah, I know your misprint, but going to war for Trump, good man. No, no. Skunk rule, yeah. And that skunk would come from the great game of cribbage, because when you get skunked, I assume it's connected. That's when you get beat by an astronomical amount of pegs, like 30 or something. And then there's a far worse, the very rare double skunk. And on the good cribbage boards, they'll have a little skunk right there. If you don't make it past that before you get beat, you're a loser. It's a trippy game. Yeah, they fucking they're in the scrum, and after you see it a few times, you notice a kid walking up and rolling the ball underneath the scrum, and then it has to touch somebody's foot. First foot that it touches, then you can touch it with your hands. Bizarre rules. I think that's right. Now, these aren't Australian rules, RW. These would be American, probably collegiate. I would think the high schoolers would play under that, like collegiate wrestling. So I don't know if it's exactly the same. I think a lot of people's first major exposure to it was the New Zealand All Blacks. I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, we all saw them doing the haka. And everyone was like, wow, that's cool. That's some intimidating shit right there, doing it on the field. Then it seemed like everybody was doing the haka for every fucking thing for a few years there. And all of a sudden, I'm like, no more haka. This thing is stupid. I'm done with it. Like, it went from this amazing war dance to, I don't know, nurses doing it in the fucking OR over a patient. It's just not, didn't stand up to the passage of time. I'm going to play a little guitar, and then we'll get this thing flowing. Fix these sound settings. Shut the door. Touch rugby. Yeah, we got touch football. It's better for less injuries. Gonna do a little like circular thing here I've been kind of working on. 7A minus side. All right, cool. I don't know what that means. Rock and roll. That was a bit of a play on. Let's see if you can pick out what it is a play on. Hi, Russian Ren. If I didn't, I'll just call you Ren, because I'm not sure how to pronounce the first part. Ren, how are you? Oh, wait, sorry. How's it go again? Come on, Steve-O. It's Stevie Ray Vaughan, Pride and Joy. Good shit, man. Love Stevie. One of the rare blues virtuosos of all time. A lot of people play the blues, but not a lot can play it like him. We fix that sound and we'll get some people on here. Last Dance, how are you?
All right. Good evening. Happy Friday and happy birthday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, what a week, huh?
Yeah. Crazy.
Couldn't believe it. I had the Twitter on at the game. It was right then when it came out, and I could not believe it, man. I thought it was going to come out Friday, but common logic dictated, unless there was absolute chaos in there, it was coming out before the weekend.
I mean, I figured it would come out quickly for Guilty, but I thought anything was possible. 'Cause,
Mhm.
I mean, the charges were insane. So the jury could have just said, "I don't understand any of this shit,"
Mhm.
because nobody else did.
Yeah.
But
It,
you know,
the more reading I do it now about it now, I'm starting to gain some understanding. But yeah, if I was in that jury, I would have been like nodding my head like I understood, but thinking to myself, what the fuck is happening right now? I'm not sure I get this. Like, you don't want to be in contempt and keep asking questions and questions and quite like seem like a total moron, but it did seem pretty confusing.
yeah. I mean,
And
I'm not gonna criticize the jury. Their job is very hard,
mhm,
and they don't they don't really have total freedom. They have to stay within certain bounds, and 9 hours of deliberation is very little for a case like this.
yeah,
Um,
34 counts. Yeah, I mean, you would have thought each count could have taken even a half hour, would have been what 16 hours or more, you know what I mean?
yeah, I
17
mean,
hours.
if you luck out, and everybody on the jury is already leaning in a certain way, and then you don't have a lot of stressful deliberations, and you could get to a unanimous verdict reasonably quickly.
Right.
Um,
Not 12 angry men.
Not 12 angry men,
Right.
and I don't know. So it's not that I blame the jury. Uh, I just think that the charges you know, were garbage, if at worst, and highly suspicious. At
Right.
best.
But also, we weren't in the room. We didn't get to see what they
That's right.
saw.
That's
Therefore, the decision you and I would make from our limited understanding could be vastly different.
exactly. And to be even clearer, I did not follow the trial extremely closely, so I don't even know all the evidence that was presented.
Hmm.
Um, I mainly read, people Monday morning quarterbacking the trial from prosecution, and but the next step is the appeal, and we'll see what how that goes.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a long, long time till that happens. Um,
It would
and
be it
if
would
they get
be
a judge who's, I don't know, it seemed like there was some stuff that would stand up well in an appeal in Trump's favor. Um,
I
but
don't
again,
know. I honestly don't know. Those legal details are beyond me. The question I ask myself is, was there really a crime committed here? And based on the laws, and in my mind, there is no crime committed here. Um,
right, it would be legal to pay off Stormy Daniels
yeah,
um,
and
in a personal business setting, as long as you didn't fuck around with the money you sent to her with taxes. For the average Joe, you would be fine. Like, as is it called a non-disclosure agreement?
if you, yeah, that's what it's called.
Did you see Trump after today's his press conference? He went through a whole thing about that.
No, I didn't.
Over your right shoulder, it looks like there's a Bigfoot in your window, but I think it's just a shadow from the tree.
Okay, I'm. No, no Bigfoot.
Right shoulder. Okay, that shoulder, yeah. That dark mass
I don't see a dark mass, but
in the smaller window. Okay, good enough.
oh, you mean over there?
Yes, yes.
That's a pine tree.
Okay, cool. That is nice. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to divert. yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the appeal's not going to happen before November,
No, I don't think so.
which sucks. You know, it should happen a lot faster.
You know,
But
it would be if you want maximal hilarity. Well, it would be funny to me is if Trump was in prison, in prison, and elected.
yeah, do you think he'll get jail time from Marshawn?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
These are felonies. You're not going to get, I think he might get a lot of jail time.
House arrest is a possibility. It is a Class E felony.
Yeah.
It's a very low grade, and it's only. There's another part of this which I found interesting. Hold on a second. I usually let you in for a few minutes, and then I let RW in. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey, yeah, go ahead. I'm happy to wait.
The fact that he wasn't charged with the misdemeanor, but the felony would be an add-on to the misdemeanor, an upgrade, if you will, in layman's terms. So there's some legal stuff here that is definitely possibly going to come up on the appeal. I don't know. Did you think about that? The misdemeanor aspect with the felony upgrade?
Yeah, I think the law was that there's an obscure law that is of New York election law, which makes it a misdemeanor for two or more persons to conspire to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means.
Right.
And I think that is there's simply no reasonable way that you could go from paying Stormy Daniels to be quiet to that there being a conspiracy to promote or prevent the election of Hillary Clinton.
Well, you would be promoting your own public image. I believe that is what's being gone after. He's making himself look better by forcing Stormy Daniels to be quiet.
No, that's not illegal. It's only by promoting or preventing the election by unlawful means.
Well, right. then I don't actually understand the case, because that's what I understood.
Therein lies the election interference aspect of it.
Right.
I truly think if it came out and she said, I slept with him, and he said, yeah, I did, no one would have given two shits. Like, why he even paid her off? Like, nobody thinks he's clean. He's not a fucking clean businessman. He's kind of dirty anyways. He's not this, he's never been a religious character, like, I don't think
only when it suits him.
Right. I don't think people would have given a shit at all.
I'm sure there's some that would have had fun with it.
I think somebody advised him to do that. I don't think he would have done it on his own.
Here's another one of the absurd paradoxes that just can't stand. The district attorney summed up the case in January. He said, "We allege falsification of business records to the end of keeping information away from the electorate. It's an election interference case."
But that's to make his public image look better so that he has...
No, that isn't the real problem there. The falsification of the business records occurred in 2017, the alleged falsification, after the election had already been conducted. So what he's saying is impossible. You can't go back in time. You can't falsify records and be charged with it in 2017 and say that is towards the end of keeping information away from the electorate. Not that keeping information away from. Yeah, it's just It's just absurd.
Are you sure about that date?
Yes.
I thought it was 2016.
That's when the payment was made.
Right.
The falsification of business records occurred when he reimbursed
Michael Cohen.
Michael Cohen, and that occurred in 2017 after the election.
And Michael Cohen said it was at the time billed as normal retainer lawyer fees, basically, right?
What Smokewife is discussing there is not illegal. It's perfectly legal to pay someone, it's not illegal to pay someone or to beg someone not to put out information.
But the last statement wife says is the reason. That's what you just said, to keep it quiet before the election, which is withholding evidence from the electorate.
That's not a crime.
Withholding.
That isn't the crime that he's alleged to have committed, because that is not a crime.
Then I truly don't understand what the crime is, because
the crime
if it was falsifying documents for that purpose, it was just
the first crime allegedly was Michael Cohen what was Michael Cohen's crime? Election,
being a lawyer,
violating campaign finance laws or something. I don't even know, because it's also funny in that part of this is they're being charged with of trying to they're being charged with like breaking a federal law that the federal government will not prosecute. It's a federal government law, and the federal government won't prosecute.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely convoluted at the best.
This one thing that stood out to me that I can't wrap my head around is how in the New York law, the statute of limitation can be put on pause if the individual is not in that state at the time. So the clock only ticks on the statute of limitation if you're actually within the limits of New York. How I like, really? If you leave New York, all of a sudden crime pauses?
Well, that's to prevent people from fleeing the jurisdiction to avoid
prosecution.
So,
right.
But there's also, it just tags on the statute of limitation. It makes it 5 extra years, correct? It just pushes it more forward.
I don't know.
I mean, theoretically too, like Trump was the president, where his address was.
Right. That's the other thing, is he wasn't hiding.
What if you're like, I was in, Mirror Lake in a cabin for the whole 4 years. Would they say, well, how can you prove that? But for the average person, New York is a huge state. I suppose you could prove it with postal records, mail, things like that. But if you were wealthy, you could exist without a paper trail, that's for sure, But because he was the president, you're guaranteed to know that he was 4 years not there. Whether that's logical, like Last Dance, I think you're probably right. There's some logic to it. Yeah. But
The judge that is presiding over this case has a quote was released from him on a CNN report saying that he does not want to put Trump in jail. He flat out quoted that he does not want to put him in jail.
I don't think
whether
he
that's
should be
a game or what, I don't know.
I'm skeptical of that quote.
I can show it to you, but or do you just not believe that it was a quote said in general?
I mean, is it an actual quote, or is this third hand? Someone who knows Juan Merchant says blah, blah, blah. Because a judge should not be telegraphing what he's going to be doing before he's gone through his deliberations to do it.
Yes, I agree with that. What do you think about 34 indictments instead of grouping them? I was told that it's normal to group things. So when you start looking at the indictments and you see that it's like the same paragraph with like a couple words changed because they're going after every single entry in the book.
I think that could lead me to lean towards the targeting thing.
I don't think that's unusual. I think each one can be seen as that's common. Each one is seen as a separate criminal act.
Individual crime. Like in a racketeering case, that was the reason they invented the term racketeering. Someone's running a racket. Sometimes it could be impossible to pinpoint one crime on them, so they would charge them with this term racketeering. But with Trump, because everything was documented, I don't see why they wouldn't charge him with everyone, I guess. I mean, they're not going to pull any punches. You wouldn't expect them to, right? RW?
I don't know what I expect the court to do, to tell you the truth. I don't know how to answer that question.
I mean, I wouldn't expect them to with anybody. The question is, would they have treated the person differently if they weren't Donald Trump?
Well, my question is he really the only one doing stuff like that? Not to say that it's a good thing, but if we're going to go across the board and just evenly indict everybody for those things, I would love to see who is going to start sitting in chairs in court.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think Hillary is more guilty of these crimes than Trump ever was. In that the provision that says it's a misdemeanor for two or more persons to conspire to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means. I mean, if you look at the whole Russiagate business and stuff before the election,
the Steele dossier,
that was all Hillary Clinton campaign op.
And yeah, were they residents of New York?
She is. They are. The Clintons are, after their presidency.
There wouldn't be differences in state to state. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting that, like I said earlier, he's hated there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like 91% of people are totally against and anti him. I mean, I am not a Trump guy. I think he's a joke, but I don't want to see anybody get treated unfairly. I think that's leading us down the road of no return. You know what I mean? Like, no one should stand for that. The question is, was he treated unfairly by them because of their political persuasions? I wonder.
How do you prove that?
I have no doubt that is in fact true, that this was all a partisan operation to try and prevent Trump from being prevent his election in 2024.
How do you prove that? How is anyone going to even try to prove that?
It doesn't matter if you can prove it. It's immoral, but it's not illegal to selectively prosecute your political enemies.
Yeah, I mean, Bragg is a known Trump hater. The judge's daughter is in an anti-Trump political group, basically. And Trump, he got stifled from talking about that, which, yeah, I don't think bringing up people's family members is a legitimate thing, but in another sense,
well,
maybe, I don't know. It's fucked up. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we have a First Amendment right to speak out about all kinds of things. And certainly if we're being tried and we question the integrity and the partisanship and of the proceeding, then we are obligated to speak out about it.
So how exactly does the gag order have the right to exist?
I don't know the details of the gag order.
What from your knowledge of a gag order, like how does it work? It's basically the court or the law enforcement saying you can't talk about this, or
it's the court. The court has a wide latitude to ensure an orderly and fair trial that is not, or the jury is not being, is not being lobbied,
right?
And the the proceedings are not being delayed or encumbered. So there's a wide latitude for that. And for all I know, the judge's gag order was narrowly tailored to for that means. So I doubt that he was actually prevented from noting that the judge's daughter is a member of an anti-Trump group.
Right. I mean, theoretically, it's almost as though the judge's discretion with contempt of court travels outside of the courtroom, whereas if Trump had said what he was saying to the judge, he would probably be in contempt of court fairly quickly and warned about it. So it's like he was extending that because it could, the amount of publicity that it was getting, it could, bastardize the hearing, create some, I don't know, some sentiment about it that the judge didn't want there.
Well, I mean, the judge's ruling, you don't lose your First Amendment rights just because you're on trial. You're
but as it pertains to the court case, maybe there's some variation of your rights that you have to accept. Like you can't.
Well, yeah, but I don't see how stating or noting that the judge's daughter is in some group or another, I don't see how that interferes with the court case at all.
All right.
I mean, I don't see it. I'm happy for someone to explain, how it does, especially because it's the judge who, a judge is not a juror. A judge is presumably able to stand on his own 2 feet and can take a little heat. So,
but also the jury is not allowed to watch any media or talk to anybody during the whole process of the trial, correct?
Yeah, that's true. But the judge, that's true. But the judge knows that there are jurors do hear things, and so the judge is also trying to manage as best he can, keep a clean environment, so that
make it look like he's trying to,
so that the jury doesn't, isn't inevitably hearing something they shouldn't. It's very difficult for a judge in a case this notorious to kind of get this right. So you can't be too hard on the judge for maybe going too far, as long as eventually things are corrected.
She's a prominent Democratic activist wife, and she raises a ton of money to go against Trump.
I mean, you could say that if you're Trump. And the judge, if he doesn't like it because Trump's implying that the judge is biased, well, that's too bad. The judge needs to be wearing big boy breeches and that's and not let it get to him.
I look forward to hear Topple's view. I also vouch for Sonsol if he shows himself on camera.
He's there. Topple, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, horrible. I'm bad way right now. Yesterday rolled me down.
Oh, come on, man.
The verdict? You're crying over the verdict?
He's filling his pool up.
It's just like what they did to Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Took my Lord and Savior.
It's the same thing.
They screwed or nailed him. They're nailing him right now.
You were going to say screwed him to the cross. That's terrible.
Trump was prosecuted for our sins.
You'll hear that.
Oh, man.
You'll hear that. Depending on what part of the country you're in. Yeah, I don't know much about the case. I don't know much about it. I just think, like I said before, if you're going to do this to him, you got to start doing this to every single one. And they won't. I really think. Does it change a lot of people's views? I don't think it will. Well, you're not going to the Trumpsters. You're not going to change that one bit.
Do you know how much you know how much effort goes into in a presidential campaign to suppress negative stories.
Oh.
If you remember, during the Clinton administration, there was when he was during his first election and his reelection, there was a group of operatives called the Bimbo Squad whose job it was to, if anybody popped up and said, Bill Clinton did me and choked me doing it, they had to, either besmirch their name or pay them off or threaten them.
Oh, he tried to hush the whore up, but she talked.
Yeah.
So.
Did he get his money back? Because
I'd be pissed too. I'd be like, "Where's my money?"
Right, exactly.
Is that what this whole case was based on? Where the funds came from that paid her off to keep her mouth shut?
It's a big part of it. It is a big part of it, and for all I know, there was some misdemeanor in there.
But we also have covered that it's not illegal for him to pay her off. It's illegal for him to make it look like it was something else. Is that correct?
Well, first of all, he didn't pay her.
Well,
Michael Cohen paid her. And so did he do it on his own volition, or did he know he was going to be reimbursed? These are actually important points. And I don't think anybody believes, I wouldn't believe, that Michael Cohen paid her off of his own volition. So it was definitely Trump was going to pay Cohen back for his paying of Stormy. And it was how Trump reimbursed Cohen that was considered the falsification of business records.
What's on your mind there, Sansol?
Howdy.
Hello.
So I was just listening, and you guys are talking about the case that I'm also going over. For RW knows me. I don't know if I've met any of the other three people here, but I'm a liberal.
You know me, man.
You know me, man.
Sorry, which person said that?
Smokesteve.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so I'm a liberal. May Allah forgive me. And I think
But
that
not Krishna.
I'm probably agnostic. The whole case, I think is, I think that most of the criticisms people have of the case are just criticism in the wrong direction. Is probably my biggest problem with it. Like the biggest thing here is that Mr. Trump here probably did something illegal. All right. Now, should he have been prosecuted for it? I'm kind of on the fence about that. But it was proven in a court of law. It was proven in a court of law with at least one Trump supporter on it. So it's not like it was just complete bullshit. Kangaroo court. Nobody was there on his side. Right. That's just not true.
Well,
so
the one person on the jury that's a Trump supporter is speculation, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be speculation. I think that we can probably all agree that if you get your news solely from Truth Social and Twitter, you're probably going to be a conservative. Can we at least agree on that?
Well, Truth Social is vastly different from Twitter.
Well, right,
Twitter's
but those are
the same
sources.
way, though. Twitter's the same way, though.
I would agree. It could go either way if he was only getting his news from Twitter. Which, I mean, what kind of brain rot person is only getting their news from Twitter?
Yeah, dude.
You could go either way. With the kind of brain rot that you're going to get only from Twitter. But if you're getting news from Twitter and Truth Social as your primary means of, understanding what's going on in the world, probably a Trump supporter, right?
I digress. I'm just saying I'm just calling out. I'm calling out speculation on that point. I get your point. I'm just calling.
Yeah, sure. It's speculation. I think that there's more information about that person. They came out. I think I just haven't had a chance to read the article on it. But
what
doesn't say a lot to me. I'd rather it would make the most difference if there were 6 Trump supporters in 6. I don't know.
Not how it works. It's not how it works.
I know, but that
the guy for the Independent. I can't even remember his name. The dude.
Kennedy.
The one Trump supporter thing almost seems like that could be like the margin for error. Like it's not enough.
Maybe he's shy and doesn't like to go against the consensus.
Yeah, that's also true. He could be
Fear and
shy.
shy.
He could be,
Being
but like
conservative in New York City, you don't want to be known as that. So
yeah, you also don't want to be known as the one Trump supporter that like ended up possibly putting him in jail amongst all the rest of the conservative Trump supporters, right? So that argument goes both ways.
I don't know. Top will be all on that shit. Be like, he is a free man.
Oh, I would probably be so dumbfounded trying to even figure out what laws were broken during that trial. Like, I try to pay attention, and I'm like, I guess I would have to sit down and watch the whole damn thing, which you couldn't watch anyway. So,
right, but this guy did.
Yeah,
right?
well, exactly.
What direction do you think that people should be looking in? I forget how you introed, but you said like people are criticizing in the wrong direction or something.
Sure.
So what is the right direction?
So like the wrong direction would be, oh, well, this is a corrupt judge who has a daughter that works for the Democrats. Like, unless you want to say that once you become a judge, your family is not allowed to have any job in any way possibly relating to, policy making or anything like that. Like, if that's the direction you want to go, that's fine. But like, how many layers removed? Is it just apply to wives, daughters, just immediate family, cousins? Right?
I didn't say that.
Right.
Quick point of order. Our discussion about that was whether or not it was legitimate for them to put a gag order on Trump for talking about that.
Right.
Right. And I'll get to that point too. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I also think that like criticizing the case in terms of the gag order is pretty dumb. I think that like even as a liberal, the biggest criticism that I have of this case, right, this being the weakest case brought against Trump out of all of the cases, both in theory and on evidence presented that we have seen, right, biggest criticism that I have is that both of the New York cases probably very spite driven, right? I don't like that in my country. I think that we should prosecute for people that on things that matter, that they actually did, and that needs remedy. On this one, I think we could have gone without it. But did Trump do it? I mean, 12 jurors of 12 people and a jury of his peers said that he did. They had to unanimously agree. 34 separate on 34 separate items, unanimously agreed to find him guilty. Right. I feel like
can you go to the next layer though, because there is another aspect to it, and I can't remember. We were talking about it last night. Basically, they had to agree unanimously that he was guilty, but there was some aspect to it where they didn't have to quite understand why or how or something like that.
So I just read this. So another criticism of this is that there is no legal basis. No one has ever been, tried in this way before, that this is past the statute of limitations. The legal theory on this seems to be pretty solid, and there is case law for this, right? They didn't have to prove that he had committed this secondary underlying crime, right? They're trying to specifically look at whether or not he was doing something in furtherance of that crime, right? So in this case, what they're trying okay. So essentially what they were arguing is Donald Trump did this thing that was illegal, but it's past the statute of limitations. However, he also the illegal thing being, cooking the books in regards to the payments, right? That was gone over. He hasn't been found guilty of that because that is past the statute of limitations. But the reason why he was doing that was in order to specifically alter or change perception around the 2016 election.
Is there a rebuttal from anyone on the panel? Because we have just talked about that.
Yeah, and I can bring up the specific legal theory that I found a screenshot of, I believe, what the judge wrote. But if y'all need that.
I mean, there's a number of elements to this.
Yeah, sure.
And only one of them is that he falsified business records with, that's only one of them. The other is that it had to be with an intent to commit another crime or to aid in the concealment thereof. And And to do that, that would be necessary is what is necessary to get these to be felonies. And it did that crime that they alleged is a very obscure section of New York election law, which makes it a misdemeanor for two or more persons to conspire to promote or prevent the election of any person to a public office by unlawful means. And now you have to now you have to say what was the unlawful means. And this is where you have the time travel problem and the bootstrapping problem. The prosecution never settled on any single explanation of unlawful means, and the judge told the jurors that they could find him guilty even if they could not agree on one. In other words, they could all agree on different versions of it, but they don't have to all agree on a single one.
Sansal,
Well, my understanding.
Do you have followers of your own, bud?
Yeah, I'm also live streaming right now. I probably should have said that before I came in. Sorry about that.
Fries, bitch.
Do you know Adolph Robinson?
I don't think I know anyone named Adolph Robinson. Sorry.
Oh, he's waiting to jump on here.
He
and
could be
generally
coming from the
speaking,
Nexus.
The alarms go off with that first name.
Very common for people to be named Adolf.
Yes.
He could be coming from the Nexus.
I mean, he looks all right. He does have a little mustache, which is kind of funny, but
that's a little
if you're
spooky.
coming from the
I'm not
Nexus,
gonna lie.
give a thumb up.
Listen, I used to debate Nazis all the time. All right, so I'm prepared for it if it happens. But
I think we have to consider it's possibly Crinkle.
But
Crinkle.
just to what you were saying there, my understanding of what they actually had to what they didn't have to agree on, or what they could agree on different things, is the crime that was not prosecuted, right? Meaning the actual payment to Stormy Daniels, right? That one they could agree or disagree on whether the crime had been committed or if Trump was guilty. That didn't matter.
The payment to Stormy Daniels is not alleged to be a crime.
Right. So that's not what they had to agree on. What they had to agree on was whether or not he was doing these things in furtherance of trying to hide it from the electorate during the 2016 election.
That's not enough either.
Wasn't that in 2017?
They had to say that he was doing it, that the means he was using to hide this from the electorate was unlawful. So that's where the falsifying business records comes from. But the problem was that the falsification occurred after the election. So you have a time travel problem here.
right.
But what isn't I'm going to go ahead and pull up the actual thing that I have, because I believe now I could be super, super wrong. Let me just find an appropriate window that I can pull this up in. Go back here. Find this real quick, right?
I'm going to jump on Twitter and see what they're saying.
So this is what happened. Trump reimbursed. Here's the falsification, just so we got that out front. Trump reimbursed Cohn in 2017. And when he did that, he tried his business records that he said that he was paying Cohn for legal work. That's the falsification. He was really reimbursing him for paying Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if he had just said, I am reimbursing him for paying off Stormy Daniels, then that wouldn't have been a falsification. But in either event, this reimbursement happened in 2017 after the election.
Well, what about if he had said, I'm reimbursing him we did it in this manner to hide it from my wife and kids?
Well, that goes directly against the statements that were released in court.
Okay.
Like Trump stated in court, and I think that this was like the silver bullet, the kill shot, 360 no scope, where they either have a recording or like direct testimony or something of Trump saying, "Oh, it was Hope Hicks that she said it, and then she realized that she fucked him." Sorry, I don't know if I can curse on your thing.
Of course.
But It was the listen, we can just put off paying her until after the election. After the election, it doesn't matter, right? So like the reason stated from Trump's own mouth was, I don't want this to get out directly after the Access Hollywood tape, the grab 'em by the pussy tape, right? So because he said that was like the 360 no scope, game ending clip that nailed his coffin shut.
I'm not getting why that was.
Because that proves that it wasn't because he was trying to hide it from his family. It wasn't because he was embarrassed. It wasn't because of any other reason than to hide information from the public, I believe.
It's not illegal to pay off your mistress to hide information from the public. I believe that it is if you use campaign finance or campaign funds, which I believe is also the allegation. I could be wrong on that. There's argument in my chat over whether that was the case or not. And it also seems like a couple of the articles that I was reading on stream a couple of minutes ago seem like they were disagreeing on that. You have to remember the campaign finance laws are federal, and their prosecution is by the federal government.
But the laws that they were charging him under were the New York election law here. Yeah. New York election law 17 through 152.
17-152 is two or more persons to conspire or to promote or prevent the election of any person by unlawful means. That's the New York election law.
Okay. Can you tell me what? Okay, I didn't know what to look up for this one. What is the PL section 175.05 and 175.10? Do you know what those are?
That's probably the federal. Those are probably the federal.
The Federal Elections Campaign
election
Act.
Laws. Well, yes, FECA, the Federal Election Campaign.
That's listed before this one.
If you want, yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're fine. So the thing, here, I can actually let me link you this image. Well, I actually don't know if I can. Can I? Let's do copy image address and see if I can put this in the chat for you guys.
What's he trying to do? What are you trying to do, Doug?
I'm just giving you guys the same image that I'm looking at. If I click on this, does it open? Okay, yeah. Tell me if that opens for you guys. If not, then I'll find another way.
Is that one link?
Yeah, it's one link. Sorry.
Okay, it's a long link. Yeah, I got it. It's very small.
Yeah, you have to zoom in super close. Unfortunately, this is the only image of this that I could find.
I could put that up.
Yeah.
What article? There you go.
Is that okay, Smokesteve?
Sure, buddy. I'm just gonna hit the driveway for a quick second. Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me put that up while you're talking about it.
Yeah. So this is all like I have my own positions, and some of this is going to be probative. Okay.
Can you see that?
I have it up on my screen. As long as you don't move it, or as long as it's still, it'll eventually clear up for anyone watching. So I'm looking at the four theories being violated are. This is the first paragraph. Into the first paragraph.
Okay, I'm looking at page 11. Sorry,
yeah, you're fine. That's the first paragraph that we have here.
Okay.
The four theories being violations of the Federal Election Campaign Act. So they do have that one on there. They have the New York election law. That's number 2. 3, the tax law. And then 4, the defendant's intent to violate PL 175.05 and 175.10. And when I Googled that, I didn't get anything. But if maybe you guys got a better search engine or maybe a better Google, whatever the case is. But let me see here. So the people's four theories are discussed below in greater detail. So this is going to be on the second page there. It's cut off at the end, but this is the relevant part for us. The people's four theories are discussed below in greater detail. Okay. 1, the people allege that the defendant violated federal election laws because the payoffs to both McDougal and Daniels violated FECA's restrictions on corporate and individual contributions. People's Opposition, page 24. The people presented evidence to the grand jury that Cohen pled guilty in the Southern District of New York to violating FICA for engaging in the very acts which are at issue here, i.e. making unlawful campaign contributions, and that he did so at the direction of and in coordination with a candidate for federal office, later identified as Donald J. Trump, the defendant herein.
So, in other words, he's admitting guilt to an act he did during the election. Therefore, even though it's after the election that the court case is happening, it's considered relevant.
Yes.
No, the unlawful campaign contribution happened before the election.
Yeah, and then he admits to it in, I believe, 2017, maybe 2018.
The tricky thing is deciding where's the campaign contribution.
Well, I assume that would have been part of the evidence that they showed during the.
That's the $130,000 payment, and so the prosecution is trying to have it both ways here.
Which
on
is,
the one hand, they're saying that this was Cohen, his money, paying Stormy Daniels, and because he's paying her, this is a campaign contribution to Donald Trump. On the other hand, they're saying that he did this with the knowledge that he would be reimbursed by Trump. So this is not a campaign contribution in that sense. So I don't see how you can have it both ways.
Why is it not a campaign contribution?
Because it's Donald Trump. He's fronting the money for Trump. It's not his money at all. He's not. It's just a gap in the. It's just he's just paying Trump's money. And then
Trump is paying him back, but that's a violation of this law. You can't have someone, you're like essentially like laundering the money. You do something that is.
No, it's not laundering the money because Trump can legally pay this woman $130,000 and it wouldn't count as an illegal campaign contribution.
Yeah, exactly. If he did it, but he had Michael Cohen do it so that like this wouldn't show up on any of the documents associated with him.
Well, if so, then it's Michael Cohen's making the illegal campaign contribution.
But it was at the direction of Donald Trump. That's the allegation he was found to be guilty of.
Then it's really, really suspicious that that's even considered a campaign contribution. It's Donald Trump spending $130,000 indirectly through Michael Cohen. So there's no campaign contribution here.
Again,
if the net campaign contribution is $0.
Well, it doesn't matter if the net contribution is $0. It is the fact that they did the finance, like, let's assume that Trump doesn't pay him back. That's campaign finance violation right there. You're saying that because they went through back channels to hide the fact that they did a campaign finance violation, and they paid it back. So like no harm, no foul. I ended up paying it myself anyways. So the crime wasn't committed.
No, I'm saying it's not a campaign contribution if it's Donald Trump paying the money through Michael Cohen.
But he didn't pay it through Michael Cohen. He didn't pay him first and then he didn't give the money to Michael Cohen and then Michael Cohen gave the money to Stormy Daniels.
Are you sure that he has to pay him first? Are you sure he can't pay him later?
In terms of this one, yes, I am.
I'm not sure.
Keg's here.
Well, I mean, I guess I can be sure and you can be unsure, but at the end of the day, some people had to sit there for 7 weeks straight and hear like the legal theory behind this, what is illegal and what isn't illegal, and the very highly specific details of the case, all of which we're not necessarily privy to because of New York state law, because they don't allow cameras in the courtroom. But all 12 of these people agreed on this, that this did happen in the way that they're alleging it happened.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a lawyer, so the details.
Sure. I mean, like I'm not either, but like this is what I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like a relevant analogy that we could do like in our everyday life.
I think the real issue I'm looking for is each of these laws is designed to prevent harm, and I'm trying to see how the harm was prevented here. There really was no campaign contribution made. In fact, at the end of the day, there was no campaign contribution.
Well, if Trump didn't say that this was specifically so that people didn't hear about this because it would be damaging to his campaign right before the election, it might not have resulted in a guilty verdict. But because there are multiple statements like that, and like again, the only reason that I'm citing the one that oh god, I've already forgotten her name. The girl that cried on the stand because she accidentally, screwed Trump.
Stormy Daniels.
No,
No. The other one.
Oh,
Fucking Hope McDaniel.
Hope Hicks.
Yeah, Hope Hicks.
Hope Hicks.
Yeah. So like that's the only like one that I know like the basic gist of, like almost like word for word what he said. But he said this multiple times to multiple people. Like as soon as the election's over, it's like we don't even have to pay Stormy Daniels anymore because it won't matter that it comes out, right? So it had nothing to do with him being embarrassed because he didn't care that it came out after the election. So it's not shame that he's paying her out of, right? It's not for his family. He never mentions them once in this. He only references paying Stormy Daniels in regards to the effect it will have on the election. And that's what ultimately screwed Trump, I believe.
Are you sure that it's all hinges on the fact that the payments were made to prevent him from being embarrassed to the voting public, and not to prevent his wife and family from finding out? Because I mean that requires you to basically read Trump's mind.
No, I'm going based off of his words. If he said like to any of the people around him, man, I just really cannot let Melania find out about this. It would be the worst thing. She's going to divorce me. I was, she was pregnant with my youngest child during that. I can't let her know about this.
She was barren with Barron.
Yeah.
Well,
Barron. Or if he said
it.
something along the lines of, man, I cannot let her talk about, like, listen, I only lasted 3 strokes and that's going to be the most embarrassing shit in the entire world because, I'm big Trump and I can't let people know that I had like a bad night in bed. Like if he had said something like that, if he had said like literally anything, but what he did say to multiple people on multiple occasions, he probably would have had an out. But unfortunately, he didn't give himself that out because he told everyone, like, listen, we can't let this happen, right? We need to, the Access Hollywood tape just came out. I can't allow people to hear about this one because that'll be just too much. No women will vote for me anymore. Like, if he hadn't said all of that, then he probably would have been fine. But we all know Trump doesn't have much control over his own mouth. So he kind of shot himself in the dick on this one.
I mean, I'm sure that he did not want Melania to find out.
Oh my God, my stream just fucking crashed. I'm sorry.
Audio is still good.
So you really have to. There's no doubt. Oops, sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
There's no doubt that he didn't want his wife to find out. The question is how much of his action was motivated by that versus preventing voters from hearing negative information about it.
Well, all we can go
50-50? I mean, I don't think the jury even. I don't think the jury even.
Based off of the statements that are given, off of the evidence that's collected. Obviously, we can't mind Donald Trump, but like
I don't have. Are you saying that there was evidence presented in court that he made these statements and that was?
Yeah. I wouldn't be saying these things if like this wasn't directly relevant to what happened on the stand, right? But like every single day that this, like the big witnesses came up, every time there was like explosive evidence presented, this is what was said. So this is the evidence that was presented to the court, and Trump's team didn't do an adequate job of convincing them that it was about his children. Trump
and you think it is illegal to pay Stormy Daniels to not testify or publicly release information that would be detrimental to his election chances?
No, that is not illegal. What is illegal is to, based off of this legal theory right here, is to do it in direct response to what's happening with an election in order to sway an election.
It
If
is
he had
not
done this,
illegal.
well, I mean, based off of this newfound case law that we have out of yesterday, it is illegal.
No, it is not.
Well,
That act alone is not illegal.
it has
No,
to do with the
hold
fact that he paid Michael Cohen after the fact, and it did it in a subversive sort of like
Yeah,
clandestine manner.
it
That
had to do with the fact that he did it at a specific point in the election that it would have hurt him the most for this information to come out. It's because of the manner in which they went through with the payment to Stormy Daniels, and the reasoning that he stated to everyone around him at the time. Right, those are, I believe, the three big key things here. Right, if Trump had paid this out of his own pocket, probably wouldn't have gotten clapped for this. If Trump had done this before the election even started, probably wouldn't have got clapped for this. If he hadn't told everyone around him that it was totally fine if they just never pay Stormy Daniels because the election's over and it doesn't matter if it comes out now, right? Then he probably would have got clapped for this.
I think you're missing another important, very granular issue here. Another very subtle detail, and that is, did Trump violate the Federal Election Campaign Act?
Well,
because that would be required. It would be required.
That's true. It would be required, but
not that Michael Cohen violated the law, because Michael Cohen is not on trial for these 34 violations. It would be required that Donald Trump violated the FECA.
Right, but Trump would have been the one violating FECA because he instructed someone else to violate this law, and then he promised he would pay them back. So Michael Cohen admitted and is guilty and served time for violating this law. He did it at the direction of Trump. Now here's something I don't know. I don't know if Michael Cohen did actually get that money back or not. I feel like there was some contention as to whether or not that he actually did get the money back, and that's why he was super mad. But all that aside, he directed someone to break the law on his behalf for this thing, and that's why all of this happened.
But you would have to say that by directing someone to break the law, he broke the law.
I mean, yeah. Do you disagree that can happen?
The federal government declined to prosecute him for violating the Federal Election Campaign Act. So,
that doesn't mean that they didn't have enough evidence, and it doesn't mean that they declined to prosecute either through their own what's the word? I always forget this word every time. Like police officers' discretion. Yeah.
Discretion. Yeah.
So the federal government under Trump, through their own discretion, decided not to pursue this any further, but Alvin Bragg did pursue it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to highlight a subtle detail that you're missing, and that is that he's not. It's not actually that he's charged with doing so by breaking the law. It was his intent to avoid to violate FECA.
Turn your camera on, Lee, so I can just see that it's you, buddy, when you're ready.
You see what I'm saying? It's not actually true that he has been found guilty of violating the federal election law. The claim is that it was Trump's intent to violate the federal election campaign law, and that it is not necessary to conclude that he did.
Can you repeat that last sentence? Sorry, I just missed it.
It is very subtle, but the New York law allegedly says that you don't actually have to violate FECA. You only have to intend to violate this law or any law that's at issue. So the claim is not that Trump violated FECA, but that he intended to violate FECA, because you can't claim he violated FECA without there being a judicial finding or a legal finding that actually happened.
Sure. The specific wording is it's not that they had to. It's not. It doesn't matter whether he committed or didn't commit the crime. It's the intent. You're right. He could have committed the crime or he could not have, but that's immaterial to the case, right? I'm saying based off of the information that we have here, it sounds like he violated the law, right? But he hasn't been found
I
guilty.
only want to show how tenuous these links are from one, from one clause to the next. This chain of
I'm not going to lie,
very tenuous links that make this a crime.
Yeah, I'm not going to like sit here and disagree with you that like it feels very tenuous, especially as a layman that it has no legal background whatsoever. It does feel very tenuous. It does feel like this is why like when I came in, I don't put like much stock in the New York cases specifically because they do feel very spite driven, right? If he's found guilty of them, he probably committed those crimes, right? If there's enough evidence to prove that he did, et cetera, I'm fine with the results, right? For them to go after him, I do think that like conservatives have, for the first time in all of these cases, a legitimate gripe. Like, okay, well, this feels like just politics. This feels like they're just getting back at him. Even as a liberal, I do think that that's the case. The problem that I have with that is that doesn't carry over to the more serious crimes that he's done or that he's alleged to have done and that he's been indicted for in the 3 big cases, right?
Yeah, and I mean...
All right, Lee, coming on. Here you are.
Hey, Lee, good to see you, man. All right.
English Bottle Cap asking why there were 30 plus guilty verdicts. Yeah.
34 counts.
I think there were probably 34 business records created. I don't know exactly what they were, but each record was a violation.
Yeah.
A separate violation.
Yeah. So count 6, the defendant in the county of New York and elsewhere on or about March 17th, 2017 with intent to defraud and intent to commit another crime in a blah, blah, blah. So count 7, falsifying business records. It's the same exact thing.
It's probably separate records. It's probably like each different document.
The link to the 34 is in the private chat. If you guys actually want to go and see what they are, that's what Cluck submitted to the group.
I would click on it, but like if I'm honest, listen, I'm a political science student. I am not a law student, so I probably wouldn't be able to parse it.
So it could be a ledger with 34 identical entries.
Well, I don't think if they were identical, it would just be one charge. These are probably, we have this invoice here, and then this invoice here. Like, here's the invoice showing that they prove that they pulled it out of this account. Here's the invoice that shows that they paid this to this person. Here's the document that shows that they were. I think one of the documents said, like a handwritten note by Trump. That was filed away. He told them to destroy it, but they filed it away. It was like the handwritten note of Trump, like saying how to hide it from people, right? Instructions, so each one of those would be a separate count.
So these are all on March 17th. One is a ledger from their revocable trust. One is a check stub. One is a false entry into the business records for an invoice for Michael Cohen, and one is a bearing voucher for the business records of Enterprise with a detailed ledger for Donald Trump, all on the same date. Yeah, you're right, Sansol. They're all like minute differences. A different check number on June 19th, 2 days later.
I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Every single particular thing got called on. Intent to defraud and intent to commit another crime and aid and conceal the commission thereof made and caused a false entry in the business records of an enterprise.
Yeah, I think that this is like pretty standard in terms of what happens when it comes to like white collar crime type.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the prosecution always tries to get as many counts as they can.
That they
It's
think
up
that
to
they
the
can actually
it's
get
up
a
to the
conviction,
judge.
yeah.
The defense will ask the judge to, consolidate it into one count, or it's also used as part of a negotiating tactic to get a plea bargain agreement. So it's totally legit that the prosecution tries to expand it into as many counts as they can. That's just
one thing
by
that this is
prosecutor.
doing is for like the layman or the people that have trouble understanding court, like myself. It's bringing to their attention just how, what is the right word for it, chaotic, undefinable it can be. Because if like they have the layman that would go to the court case and be like, I have no idea what's going on. I can't even explain to you what's happening right now because I don't understand what's happening right now. Like you guys are going into the details, little minute things here and there.
But this is something that did trigger me. So I was on Drone Tech's thing last night for about 10 minutes before I got kicked. This is something that bothers me. I don't like the idea that because something is difficult for us to understand, that we're going to say that this was corrupt because they intentionally made it too difficult. Or
no, I agree with you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying literally how the system works is epic. Like when we're going in and we're going from all these different angles, and there's still all these questions.
Can you
the
hear me?
Guy has no idea.
Yeah.
Haley.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, in the UK, the way it's been reported is obviously big news here as well. But some journalists are saying, oh dear, Pandora's box has been opened, because should Trump win the election, be careful what you've done, because he's going to go after Biden and he'll be able to put him in court. So there's lots of sort of, oh my God, was this the best thing to do? So.
Right, but for people that say that the courts are controlled, then he wouldn't be able to do that anyway, because
I think
control
the risk is not that Trump will be able to get Biden; it's that Ron DeSantis or Greg Abbott will be able to go after Biden. That I think is the bigger risk.
Well, he would have to have some kind of crime there to prosecute. But like in terms of this is something that I really don't like. And this is
well, don't forget he had documents in his garage next to his car. So
sure, but like there, I can give you why there's a difference there, right? Like one thing that I don't understand from Trump, I don't understand a lot from Trump. All right, guy's a little bit of an enigma to me. But one thing I especially don't understand is why was it so necessary to hold on to those documents? Right? The difference between why Trump is being prosecuted for that and why Biden isn't is when they asked Biden for them, he gave it to them. He was like, "Oh yeah, take them." Right?
My understanding is he believed he had a right to them, and they were being taken from him.
Yeah, and I don't think that is the big reason why Trump's being prosecuted.
The
big reason is that
this is a case I know way more about and is much more clear cut. They asked him for a year and a half, like, please give us those documents. Please give us those documents. Those documents are ours. They're not yours. They're top secret. They're not secured, et cetera, et cetera. And then he not only just refused to give them, but he lied to them, said that
that's the reason.
Well, hold on. It's not just that. It's he lied that he didn't have them. Then he gave them like 15 boxes worth of them and said, okay, fine. I had them. There they are. Go away. And they're like, this is 15 boxes. There's like several hundred that you have. We need those boxes. And then there's the documented evidence of him asking his lawyers, well, wouldn't it just be better if we told them that we don't have any more documents? Like he was trying to instruct his lawyers to lie to them, right? Which they had to remove themselves from being his lawyers because they didn't want to get in, they didn't want themselves to be liable for this same crime.
That is why I think he's being prosecuted. That's vastly different from him arguing that he's entitled to keep them. That I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have is trying to get his attorneys to lie to the court and lying to his attorneys, who then pass that lie on to the court. To me that's the issue.
I mean, like, we can agree to disagree on that, because fine. I think that, like, the idea that, like, Trump was holding onto these documents in his bathroom and on the stage of Mar-a-Lago is kind of spooky. The fact that he was showing these off to, like, random businessmen from Australia, like, like showing literal, like, nuclear secrets to a guy in Australia for shits and giggles so that he could show how big of a dick he had, right? Like, that's really spooky.
Huge, bro.
It
Right?
is like they have these rules to protect us, even though it might have been on a whim in a party. Doesn't matter. You can't do that shit. It's fucking stupid and it's wrong. We have to have a hard set of rules when it comes to classified stuff. And I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. So, like,
it seemed like he ignored that.
he ignored literally everything with that one. Like, that one was a wholly unnecessary, like, litigation he put himself into. I have zero sympathy for Trump on that one. I have, like, I don't like the guy. I have some mild sympathy with the New York cases, just because they had discretion. They could have chosen not to prosecute those, but in regards to, like, the big three cases, and I don't have very much time, so I'm gonna, like, slightly derail, if that's all right. Just so curious, because I don't get to talk to conservatives as much as I used to. Listen, getting banned from Twitch was a hard thing for me. But when it comes to these cases, one thing that I don't understand is the feeling from conservatives that this is all just a political witch hunt, that, like, nothing that Trump does or could ever do would ever change anyone's mind about him. That's something that is so unbelievable to me, right? Like,
I get what you're saying, but it just seems somewhat hypocritical sometimes that the opposing party, from my point of view, as members such as Hillary Clinton's 30,000 emails, of which 2,093 were deemed to be absolutely classified. Yeah, okay, but there's no smoke without fire. So and they are conveniently deleted. So they don't make things good for themselves when they're acting in that way. And it's unless they. So why not do a proper investigation then? Why not put her on trial? And it's like, this is where Trump wins. But this is where Trump wins through, because people. Now, you and I, we're quite sensible, so we think Trump's probably not the best man for the country. But the fact is, it just gives fuel, on the fire already, that when they won't treat people fairly. It's like, it's okay for some people, but it's not for others. And it certainly gets viewed like that from the outside world. And Trump gains support from it.
Right.
See, like, I understand that impression, because I also was, I wasn't always the based liberal, hard Democrat that I am today. All right. I used to be a really retarded socialist that saw so many things wrong, that now I'm like, oh, I totally understand the explanation for that. Like, just because something is, like, difficult to understand, or because, like, something should have happened but couldn't happen, because that didn't happen, that doesn't mean that there's evidence of some kind of double standard, right? When it comes to the Hillary Clinton case, I think that what happened there was they investigated, right? The Republicans had how many months of hearings? Like, was it a year plus of hearings and investigations into this, the Hillary Clinton case? They couldn't find any evidence whatsoever, right?
No. It wasn't that they couldn't find evidence. It's that they couldn't prove her intent. That is why it was let off, because they can say she did this to be a bad
I'm using
person.
shorthand. I agree with what you're saying, right? I'm using like shorthand to get through it quicker. But, like, when it comes to, like, Hunter Biden, right? Like, people will say, like, oh, well, Hunter Biden can commit all of these crimes and he doesn't get prosecuted, but Trump is getting prosecuted for all these things. Well, like, they've investigated the hell out of Hunter Biden. They did find crimes that he committed. And he got in trouble for those crimes, but for the crimes that everyone wanted him to get caught for, so that they could also implicate Biden. The sources that they had were literal foreign agents that were either arrested
let me put
or
this.
fled the country.
What punishment then did he receive for his crimes?
Man, it's been a long time. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was it wasn't enough for conservatives, and it was.
You're not talking about the gun charge, are you?
One of them was a gun charge. One of them was a tax evasion charge, and one of them was I can't remember the third one.
The gun charge is bullshit, so he should get off on that.
Well, let me put this to you then. I'm not worried either way, but just from your own points of view, if there were gun charges, which Last Dance says don't stand up, and what was the other thing?
It was that one and the
tax.
He basically didn't file his taxes for like 3 or 4 years.
Okay. What would the punishment have been to you, Smokesteve, you RW, or you Last Dance if you hadn't have done that?
Dan, can you give me the devil horns, please, buddy? It's been a while.
I mean, the punishment might have been nothing more than a fine.
Right. So I'm not questioning. I just want to know. So you're saying then that he was treated in the same way as anybody else? Only you can answer that. Probably worse. Right. So what? To make an example of, yeah?
Well, either to make an example of, or to placate the people that are screeching about him, right? But
right.
For the big charges, like the Burisma stuff and all of that.
Give us Barabbas.
The poor dude, they kept on dragging his name all over the place. They showed his cock on the House floor multiple times to embarrass him, right? So that they could get to Joe Biden. And what was the result of that? All of the information that they were working off of were from literal proven Russian agents that were sent over to perpetuate this, and a Chinese arms dealer that operated out of Iran that fled the country, right? Every single person that they were working off of the information of were literal foreign agents, because they were so horny to try and get to Joe Biden, right? Meanwhile, when it comes to Trump, I understand the perception from conservatives that, oh, well, there's this two-tiered justice system. Oh, well, there's this, oh, well, why did they get away with all this stuff around Burisma? Why did they get away with all this stuff around their business dealings? When we have the proof for Trump, we have documented proof for Trump, we have indictments for Trump. They couldn't find any evidence for Biden.
Right.
I mean, it was not a good look when he fell asleep with the crack pipe in his mouth.
Listen, I'm not going to defend Hunter Biden. All right, dude.
Who gives a shit if he likes crack? I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit if he likes crack. But if he's going to do some crimes, and they're going to go so hard into investigating him, and they charge him, you know what? I don't care.
Oh, right? I do care. I mean,
how do you know on principle, I care, but in terms of the impact on my life and the impact on the political sphere, I don't care, right?
I mean, how do you know? How do you know it was crack?
Come on.
Listen,
how do you know?
You saw that animalistic look in his eyes. All right, that wasn't just the fact that he had a nice.
You don't know what was in there. Suppose he says in his defense, it was just tobacco in there. How are you going to prove it otherwise? Oh, everybody knows it's a crack. Well, you got to prove it. It's just a video. It's just a video. You don't have the pipe. You don't have anything else.
If there's a person,
he intended to use it for crack. Come on.
Okay. Wait a minute. I've got a question.
If there's a person shot on the ground and the camera turns on and you're turning away, but you have a gun in your hand, would your excuse be, how do you know it was a real gun?
Hey, you do have to prove all those things.
Because there was a guy passed out and he was fucking high as hell.
You better get that gun, the actual gun. You better get the guy's fingerprints on it. You better prove that the bullet that was fired was from that gun. That video helps, but it's not enough.
But the thing is, you've got a court case coming up at the beginning of June on his gun charges, and then I think it's in September on his tax charges, and it just isn't good for Biden during an election year, is it? That's
It's
the
not.
thing.
It's not. I'll give you that. Hey, listen,
Okay.
me and Dank started talking at the same time. I'd like you to go ahead and finish what you were saying, buddy, or start and finish.
Good
Uh,
man.
yeah,
I don't know. Like everybody's talking about Hunter Biden smoking crack. Like Washington D.C. Elected a crackhead mayor. Why would the president's son being a crackhead have any bearing on the candidacy?
I just think
no
it's funny.
idea.
And not
This
only
is the
did
most
they
reasonable
elect a
group of
crackhead
conservatives
mayor,
up
they
at the
elected a
top. Holy
crackhead
shit.
mayor after he got busted, like on tape in a fucking drug bust where he was like propositioning a prostitute while smoking crack.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
Matt.
I have to
crap.
head out. I don't want to just like do an Irish exit here. Really quick. My editor is asking me, like, do any of you guys going to post any of this to YouTube or anything like that? Because he'll send you like shorts that you.
Well,
can
this
post.
is live on
already.
YouTube the whole time, so
Yeah, and you're Smokesteve.
yes,
All right, I'll send him your YouTube so that he can send that to you if you need.
sounds great.
All right. Hey, thanks for the conversation, guys.
Yeah,
Great talking
take
to
care.
you. No, so
Yeah.
come back again, please.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
do my best.
Don't be a stranger now. You hear?
Have a good one now.
Gotcha.
He's a good guy.
No one here is picking on crack, Brandon. I think it's funny. I think it's
I don't care if
damning.
you are. But why would it be damning?
I don't know. I personally don't.
I
like,
mean, look, dude. We all know Eric Trump snorts coke and then goes on camera and like complains about how bad his dad's being treated. So why would Hunter Biden have any bearing on Biden?
Did I miss something? How do we know that?
I don't know that.
Have
but
you ever watched a video of Donald Trump Jr. complaining about how bad his dad is being treated? What was the one when he
Donald
first
or
got
Eric?
indicted?
Those are two
When he
different
first
guys.
got indicted, and Donald Trump Jr. like made a video talking about this is some communist level shit.
I didn't see that, and honestly, I don't know much about Donald
I might
Trump
be able to
Jr.
find that video.
to tell you the truth.
Oh no!
Hey, just changing the subject for a second. You might have already discussed it because I've come in late. But do you think President Biden's peace deal or idea for Israel is going to work?
probably as good as the gods appear.
You mean his total capitulation to Israel? Yeah, I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah.
Israel will continue giving him money. They'll continue giving Donald Trump money. They'll continue giving Lauren Boebert money. They'll continue giving Nancy Pelosi money.
What is proposed though with that peace deal? I haven't paid any attention to it. When did it happen, and what is he proposing?
Are we on to Israel now? This is a good transition.
Yeah, I was only putting it out there because obviously it caught my attention tonight that he's announced that he believes he's got a way for them to move forward, and Hamas should grab it with both hands, and so should Israel as well. But I think
it will never work.
But is that as deep
okay?
as
So
it
I
gets?
figured it out. He's going to bend over. He's going to lube up, and he's going to let Benjamin Netanyahu fuck him right up the ass.
Is that a public statement they're releasing now? Because I'm not like surprised by that.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
whole new
I mean,
world,
that's what
man.
he's been doing so far.
I don't know. I don't really consider him doing much at all. Really, just a figurehead that's like hanging out, kind of reading some stuff here and there.
Sending
What?
plenty of weapons for them to continue their genocide.
why are they
But I
making deals that would allow the existence of Hamas? Shouldn't these deals make a provision
What
for
deal
making
would allow the
Hamas
existence
no
of Hamas?
longer exist?
I think that's a requirement. There
That's
should be
what I
no-
mean. Like,
Anything that
Hamas shouldn't
prevents-
be involved with these. Palestine, yes, the people of Palestine, yeah, we feel bad for that. This is a horrendous ordeal they're going through, but the removal of Hamas is crucial.
I think that it's anything other than the removal of Hamas would be a mistake, and it would just result in a repeat of this in a few years.
Well, I mean, if they remove Hamas, then Benjamin Netanyahu has to stand in court for his crimes in his own country, like all the corruption crimes that he's trying to avoid, partially with this war.
So you're saying that by having an active war, he won't have to deal with court. So
I think that is an outrageous.
Well, yeah, I mean he's been trying everything he could
so
for years
outrageous.
to put it off.
It's actually retarded. That's how outrageous that statement is.
I don't know anything about what he's on the hook for in Israel.
So, Brandon, are you also saying that Netanyahu arranged for Hamas to attack on October 7th and kill all those people?
Well, do you believe that George W. Bush was warned ahead of time before 9/11 and allowed them to attack?
No, of course not.
Well, why not? We already know that.
It's only a dumbass believes that. We don't know that.
No, we do. Like we actually have like all of the people that were warned ahead of time, like coming out and saying, "Look, we knew this like months in advance."
I don't know.
You didn't know any specifics. I mean, that's all nonsense.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
time to drop some sources, boys. Basically, one person saying they are on board with false flag, and the other person is saying there is no false flag.
No, there's no false flag. That's idiocy. And
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a false flag.
It's infantile.
It was allowing an attack to happen in your country when you're down in an election year,
and that's
so that you can rally the support of nationalism around your candidacy to win a presidential election.
How is that not a false flag?
You're saying that even though you know that there was an attack years earlier on the same building by the same people.
Well, yeah. I mean,
but this second attack you're saying is completely different.
If I remember correctly, the FBI was tipped off to that attack as well. Like the person that rented them the trucks to drive into the World Trade Center and blow up the garage, they were suspicious why these people were buying these trucks. And I think somebody else had also seen like the manure and shit inside the trucks and had also called and tipped off the FBI. I could be wrong. I mean, this is years ago.
No, you couldn't.
I was a fucking kid when this shit happened.
You couldn't be wrong.
See, Dance can't. He comes around.
It's not manure. It's ammonium nitrate and
fertilizer.
Manure wouldn't make it would be a shitty, stinky bomb. It would be
a dirty bomb.
It'd be like lighting a big fart on fire.
It needs to be the purest ammonium nitrate that you can find.
New York, who's going to notice?
A couple tons of it as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a miracle they didn't take those buildings down the first time around. Yeah, and I'll give you, Dank. I'm not saying I'm looking at this whole thing of 9/11 and saying, well, yep, I agree completely with the narrative 100% that we've been sold. No, I do have questions about it. But I do think basically
who do we lose?
Topple.
Oh.
I do think basically that Islamists did fly planes into the World Trade Centers and into the Pentagon, as well as a field in rural Pennsylvania.
I just said that we knew ahead of time and we did nothing to stop it. Because our government at the time wanted to use the rally of nationalism to enact the Patriot Act and to be able to rally that support around the presidential candidate and win another election.
The point made that wars being or go ahead, Dance.
The reason that particular claim is stupid is that this event happened just after Bush was elected. It wasn't like it happened towards the end of his first term. It happened at the beginning of his first term. Only, 9 months after he took office.
What, the event being for the Patriot Act agenda?
The 9/11 attacks took place in September of 2001. Bush was inaugurated on January 20th of 2001.
Right.
January 6th.
What I was hearing him saying.
January 6th.
Inaugurated into a country that the majority of people were pushing for recounts, which the recounts did later show that more people voted for Al Gore than for George Bush.
They did
Not-
not.
not-
do
not-
that.
Bush,
Climate change.
That's a discussion. That's a discussion right there.
That's false. But beside the point was you're alleging that they arranged or allowed this attack to happen 9 months into his presidency to ensure his election in November of 2004.
I thought it was to enact the Patriot Act. I thought that
That came after the fact. But I'll tell you, thank Brandon, I think the most legitimate case for a stolen election ever comes down to Florida, Gore, Bush. Now, there was a time in one of those counties with one of those counts that they stopped the count short and they threw votes away. That is recorded, and it really did happen. And that, you know what? The person in charge of the whole racket was Republican. It wasn't even thought of back then as a possibility, so people just sort of discounted it and accepted it. But that was I think that was the real shadiest election we've ever had.
I need a link. I need a link for that.
Yeah.
Also,
But
who do you think has more power now, Gore or Bush?
that election wasn't stolen, man. The Supreme Court won that election fair and square.
This was the Gore recount strategy.
There's a
recount.
fabulous podcast that just came out about this last dance. and
You
it
keep
is so good.
recounting until you get ahead in the vote. Then then you say the recounts are done. That was the Gore recount strategy.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, I got a great podcast. I'll send you the link sometime about this whole thing. That is just historical data about it.
Take
some
a
of these-
look. It's in
some
a
of these-
book.
Some
I
of these
will
counties-
agree. This is what I will agree. That Gore, if the voters had had their way properly, Gore would have won Florida and thereby the election. Mainly because Buchanan got all those votes that had to have been meant for Gore.
Mm.
Like 60,000 votes that
I
Buchanan
think
got
it worked out for Gore,
in-
though, in the end.
in Palm Beach County.
Gore is a very powerful man these days and dictates a lot of climate change legislation around the world. Or
I think
motivate
he would have rather been president.
maybe. I'm just saying, where's Bush now? I honestly don't even know.
They're both old men who were enjoying their retirement.
Yeah, I mean,
Gore's still active.
is
George Bush is currently trying to make sure that he doesn't get shot in the face by Dick Cheney.
Ooh.
it-
Stay away
are
from
you-
that.
I think Dick had his chance.
Hi, Donna. Donna Yarball in the house. Welcome.
All right, Donna. Okay.
RW, are you saying you think that the climate agenda is completely false? Is that what you mean?
Yep,
100%?
I think that climate is being used politically to advance political agendas.
Interesting.
Okay, what do you think about heat bulbs?
They're hot when you touch them.
What is that, dang Brandon?
Or what is it? What is it? The wet bulb. That's what it's called. That's the like where humidity, like the humidity will rest over an area during the summer and makes it so hot that you can't sweat because the temperature outside your body is the same as the temperature inside your body, and you sweat in order to cool yourself off, and it like prevents your pores from being able to sweat.
Huh.
And people die.
Yeah, that really hurt.
I want to know this is something I have discovered as I get older. Your ability to cool yourself down through sweating as you age, it becomes compromised over time.
It could be the Jameson.
No, this is not a part of everyday
Okay.
activity for me. This
Okay.
is a Saturday night thing.
I do agree with you. I do also know that the skin of our skin changes drastically as we get older and becomes very frail and less vivid. Yay! Happy birthday, Steve!
All right. How about the waters around Florida being 90 degrees right now? What do you think about that?
I think they're 90 degrees right now.
They're getting there, but yeah, I mean, my
They are.
niece went to her freshman year down there and on the Gulf side in a school right on the water, and she said it was like almost practically stepping in, if you can imagine, into a fucking hot tub was the ocean. Like it feels warm to your skin, you know, which takes a very warm water to feel warm to your skin. You know, 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
But
10
yeah,
more degrees and it'd be boiling.
not refreshing. It's fun. I mean, it's cool. You're like jumping in, but if you're trying to cool off, going into the ocean, no bueno. Just fucking same temperature as the air almost. It's crazy. Like 2 degrees difference. 92 outside, 90 in the water. Really
I'm not.
is.
I mean, I'm not concerned. I think that we need to take care of the earth for sure. I do that on a daily basis. I'm a gardener. The political venues to fix the problem, though, to me are nonsense, and that makes me pay more attention to it in that way. If they were actually approaching the problem logically and efficiently, sweet, sounds good to me. But I'm not going to fearmonger it, not at all.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. The fear mongering.
Okay, so you don't think that the ocean temperature has any bearing on how strong a hurricane will be?
I think that a lot of stuff makes it worse for a country for the storm seasons. I think cutting the trees down and stuff like that, so that there's less things to hold wind back, and it just like goes at it. I don't know. There's.
How about
I see storms getting worse.
how about allowing red algae to infect all of your marshlands around your state?
I
Like
don't know.
the red tide, is that what you mean?
It kills your marshlands, and your marshlands is your first defense against hurricanes.
If I see the marshlands that I've grown up knowing change in any way, shape, or form, that will mean a lot to me. I have not
read up on the red algae or what the red tide in Florida. Yeah,
It's nasty, dude.
read up on it. You'll be disturbed.
It's gross.
You know, yes, for it to be
I
a
would-
bad thing, but to be a correlation.
I would single in on
South
the
Carolina also. South
the
Carolina
warm-
also has like completely diminished their wetlands. I think it's like right where South Carolina meets Georgia. And there's like supposed to be wetlands and marsh areas in that area because that's usually where the storms hit on land right there. And they're dwindling.
So I have a question in response. Do you think that the reasons you're being given are the reasons that the climate is suffering, or do you think that it's different reasons? Because I personally think that it's destruction of wildlife and pollution and those things that are causing the balance to be broken so that things aren't the way that they normally are. I don't think that, driving cars and CO2 is the reason that it's happening.
Okay, but
I would say it's both.
Do you dispute that CO2 eats away at the ozone layer?
I think CO2
Ozone layer.
is a part
not
of
the ozone layer.
Yeah.
No, it does not eat away the
plant oxygen cycle and all of that. It works. It's a part of the cycle. So while it may be corrosive and may do things, it's also a part of the algorithm. Or the equation.
Yeah, well, I think what it comes down to is an aspect that people aren't looking at is that there needs to be more trees to balance the whole thing out. And yeah, thank Brandon, you are onto something. I think it's a scientific fact that warmer ocean waters, when a turbulent disturbance of weather goes over it that's going to turn into a hurricane and hits warmer waters, it does pump up the bass on that bad boy, pump up the volume. Thing gets bigger, badder, faster.
It's more energy.
It's a simple equation. So, in the most basic sense, that has something to do with negative impact of it. Now the question, I guess you could say, is what's causing the oceans to get warmer?
Okay, well, there's multiple things. There's multiple things that are actually causing the oceans to get warmer. So first of all, the ice shelves melt every year, like
What's
collapsing every year.
And they freeze every year.
Warmer waters. Well, look, you can't pinpoint one specific cause because everything is a cycle. So the warmer waters from the south gets picked up by the ocean currents and gets brought up to the north. That in the summer causes the ice shelves to melt faster than what they normally do. And we've tracked the melting of the ice shelves before we started industrializing and after we started industrializing. And they're melting faster. And when they do melt, there are bacteria and enzymes that have been long buried and dormant that are released, causing new diseases, new pandemics.
Or old ones.
Like COVID-19.
Right.
No. COVID-19 didn't happen like that.
Oh.
There's data.
But the one that does, everyone's going to think it's going to be COVID. And nobody's going to prepare themselves. And I've been saying this, that there's going to be a pandemic like this come from the melting ice caps since long before COVID. Me and my wife regularly have conversations about this.
Well, first of all, I hope you're wrong. And second of all, I hope that you get to talk about that for a long time before it would happen. There's also data that shows that the ice caps are also freezing and they gain more than people there's articles on both sides. You can find both.
Well, yeah, they'll freeze during the winter, but in the summer months, they melt far more than what they freeze back. That is the problem. And when they melt, they push more water into the ocean. That rises the sea level around Florida and causes Florida to lose more landmass.
I would have to see sources on actual loss of landmass.
Of the ocean due to melting
another cause is pumping chemical waste into the oceans.
Yeah, that's not good for the cycle.
I
think pollution should be
oil lines under the ocean that rupture and bleed for months, and then something happens and a spark sparks under the ocean, and suddenly you have a burning fucking ocean.
A spark under the ocean forms?
Yeah, you don't remember when the ocean was on fire?
I wouldn't think that it started from under the water.
You mean the BP
because
oil
a gas
spill?
line? It happened because oil was leaking from a oil line. A spark happened under the water.
Where was this?
The spark can happen. Oh God!
Sparks
when did
can't
that happen?
start oil on fire.
You talking about the thing, the gas lines out there?
Yeah. What was it? Was it in the Gulf?
Yes.
No, it was in
It was just a couple of years ago.
He's talking about the big one, Last Dance. The gas.
The BP oil spill?
Fire. No.
It was 12 years ago. 13 years ago.
Are you talking about natural gas?
Gulf of Mexico on fire. Yeah, so an oil rig. Rare occurrence sees ocean on fire as gas pipeline ruptures. Where'd the fuck did that go?
All right, I'm gonna go grab
Why
a
am I
whiskey
only on
sour. I'll be
images?
back in 2 minutes. Last Dance, you got it.
News.
All right, Steve.
Hey, Last Dance, rouse up some aphid lip so by the time I get back here, he's here.
Well, he might be busy.
Two more
I mean,
times.
Rouse.
Got it. Rouse him up. All right.
We just have to say aphid
Can I
lip,
find
aphid
one that's
lip,
kind of
aphid lip,
fake?
and he should be on in about 10 seconds.
All right, it says
All right.
2 years ago, visit site. Let's see here.
I want you to hang out with us. Look, a female. Dance isn't even paying attention. He missed it.
Well, I'm trying to put the bat signal up for aphid, like the aphid signal.
What does that symbol look like?
It's just a hideous-looking aphid with red lips.
I thought it was a irresistible squash plant or something.
Okay, so I put that story that I found with a video of the Gulf on fire into the
Hey,
chat.
Mr. Kilsey.
Says that it failed to post.
No, you got to do a private chat. You can't do it. Hey, Drone. You got to
Hey,
do
Drone.
it.
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I just got home.
Oh, we already
Sorry.
you missed all the Trump talk, so we're moving on to climate change.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's horrible. Please change the subject. Hey, Sarita.
I have the
No, don't change the subject. Can I get in on this at all? Can I say anything?
yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Speak your mind, dude.
No, I mean, what was the discussion? What happened?
For climate change,
Hank,
or
you're
Trump?
looking good, my buddy. I gotta say, you're looking pretty good. All right, anyway, go ahead. I don't mean
For
that
what
gay way. I
topic?
just mean you look healthy. You look like you were dying of a drug overdose before. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, ow! Is that a compliment? I don't know if that's a compliment in the end. I don't think it ended with a
No?
compliment.
Oh, sorry. Anyway,
Be real good friends.
Oh yeah, it's that category. One thing I do want to ask the group that I don't quite understand the concept of is Brian Dean Wright this morning on a podcast was talking about the court case and the indictment process and the guilty verdict and how China and different nations will now pump out different propaganda based on that court case alone. And I'm trying to wrap my head around how that works. You know, he's saying like China's now going to try and divide the country even more and pump certain propaganda to really spark that.
yeah, I mean, to me, like everything that's been happening for the last 20 years has been probably driven by our enemies, as far as I can tell. And so it's funny, we have a bunch of Americans that are being driven by our enemies who think we're the enemies, right? We're like the actual like people who love this country. So we're the enemies.
So that's
Anyway.
ideology. The ideology has been accepted to where other American civilians are now looking at other American civilians as the enemy.
Right, which is exactly like what they would want. And you know, Bezmov talked about that in the 80s, right? The KGB guy. He talked about that exact thing being seeded in the country. So I think it seems to be working well.
What is their
Would you
venue?
include Tucker Carlson as one of those people that buy into
I do wonder about
propaganda?
I gotta tell you, I do wonder about Tucker these days. I
He
wonder
made
about that
great
guy.
waves talking to Putin.
I love
So
Tucker back in the day, but these days I'm like, what is going on with this guy? You know, although there's a definite effort to take him down, just like Musk. Anybody that's
You
like
think there's any difference with Tucker now between Tucker's bow tie days when Jon Stewart handed him his ass on air?
Okay, well, I would challenge you on that right off the bat. Jon Stewart did not hand him his ass. In fact,
Well, yeah, he did. He told him he was destroying the country.
No.
20
Jon
years
Stewart
later,
made
we've got you
Jon
sitting
Stewart made a
here
full ass
telling
of
us that
himself.
that the country's been
Stewart-
destroyed by
Hank.
outside propaganda.
Thank Jon Stewart in that interview or in that debate with Tucker was, I think, he might have been one of the first. It's different when I do it. Honestly, he was like the first big. It's different when I do it because it was.
Your
It
big
was. Do you
narrative.
remember? Do you know what I'm
Your
talking
big-
about?
your big
That phrase,
narrative
Brandon?
is different when I
Do you
do
know what I'm
it.
talking about?
Kind of like it's different when Donald Trump campaigns on lock her up,
hold
and
on,
all
you're
of his
jumping
people
now.
say lock her up, and
jumping.
then
No.
Donald Trump gets convicted of all of his crimes, and
Well,
everyone's
yeah,
talking about, this is tyranny.
Right, I'll address that, but real quick, back to the Jon Stewart thing. Jon Stewart, when he was confronted with the hypocrisy of what he was accusing the media of, the fact that he does all the same stuff, which he does.
He's a comedian.
Tucker
His show.
confronted him. Hold on. Tucker confronted him with that, and his response was, "Oh, but I'm a comedian, bro." And it's just like
his show's not a news
this is
show.
what you all do. This is what you guys do. It's like, no, I cannot be held to my own standards. There's an exception for me. This is what you always
comedy can be used as
do.
propaganda, Brandon.
You're all like this. It's like a mental defect. I don't know. You all share it. I don't know.
Okay, but wait a minute. Jon Stewart pointing out the stupid things that
No.
Republicans and
What's up, buddy?
Democrats
How you
say.
doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Good
What's up,
to
buddy?
see you.
Yeah, nice to see you
So
too,
Jon
man.
Stewart pointing out the stupid things that
Tucker,
Republicans and Democrats
should we watch
say.
that? Should we watch it? Tucker Carlson turned it back on him, and that was his only response. It was like, no, it's different when I do it. That's what it was. You want to watch it? Should we watch it? Can you do that, Steve? Can you
Because
bring
he's
up?
not a newscaster.
Can you bring up the Tucker
He's not
Carlson?
pretending to be. Well, he actually is
Stewart debate.
pretending to be a newscaster. That's the whole
Hold
joke.
on, no, fuck that, dude. All right, well, whatever.
I mean, it's kind of like Stephen
Can I have this
Colbert
kind of
created
debate with
an
someone I
entire.
assume they're on the same
Stephen
mental
Colbert
level as
created
me?
an entire
Maybe you're not.
character that became the MAGA avatar.
What?
Stephen
Over to
Colbert
John-
You're gonna make me
created an
defend
entire
Tucker now.
character that was
I even
supposed
told
to-
you I'm kind of wavering
Stephen
on
Colbert
Tucker,
created
and
an
now you're
entire
making me defend
character
him.
that was supposed to be satire, that ended up being the avatar for MAGA.
Being the avatar for MAGA, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I know that
Okay, so
there
you
was a
don't know what
large
an avatar
majority
is?
of Democrats.
You don't
I
know
know.
that
I
an
know that.
avatar is a
Hold on.
representation
I know
of
in the
us?
early 2000s there was a large percentage of
I mean,
Democrats
we've had
that
the
got
movie
their news
Avatar,
from the
fucking
Daily
anime
Show.
called Avatar: The Last Airbender. All of it's fucking about
The
a
Airbender,
representation
okay.
of something.
I don't. I never watched
But
it.
you
but
don't
what
fucking
about
know
it?
what the goddamn word Avatar means. The fuck kind of idiot are you, dude?
Oh,
You don't
I
think
think-
I know what Avatar means?
welcome
Really?
back, Lee. I think
Come
that
on,
is
man.
better tactic
Thanks.
to let people finish their sentences to have a back and forth conversation. That's my
let's
personal.
But this dude's supposed to be like the big media call out guy. Like, I've gone to college.
I'm nobody.
I was in the Air Force.
I'm
you know,
nobody.
blah blah blah. You don't know what the fucking
I'm fucking
Avatar
nobody.
is?
I don't know what you're talking about. I of course know what Avatar is. Come on. All right. I didn't know what context you meant.
Oh, so
Did
you
mean
just pretend not to know things like the crime
No.
that Donald Trump was just.
No, I
convicted
didn't know what you meant. I didn't know if you meant like an avatar, like an image, profile image, or you meant the show that, which I wouldn't really consider anime, but Avatar, right? It's sort of anime, I guess.
No, it's the
It
one
is.
by Dean Cameron or whatever
Oh,
it is, where you
man.
put in a big.
I've
monkey
never
movie.
watched it. I'm not really into Avatar. I know of
You know,
it. What about
I'm
it?
starting to
I
think-
play
Not
Fortnite.
Dean-
I do
it's
airbending and water bending
guys
in
are right.
Fortnite. It
I'm
makes
starting
me
to think
more.
you guys are
Hey, that
right,
makes me
and that-
more
and that
Avatar than you, bro.
I'm starting to think you guys are right, and that the school system hasn't been
Dang.
teaching people
Hey,
for
dang.
like 50 years.
Dang, have you ever
Because
played
this guy
Fortnite? Have
doesn't
you
even
ever
know how to use
airbended or
context
water
clues
bended?
when he's
Or
when he's talking to somebody in a
I've
conversation?
done it. I've done it in a game. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I did.
So I'm more Avatar than you. Anyway, you were saying.
Translation: loser.
You-
Anyways, what were you asking me to find tape of fucking
Crack
Oh,
pipe,
Carlson?
Jon Stewart versus Tucker Carlson, the first Crossfire debate. This big. Everybody thinks Jon
Excellent
Stewart
board
owned-
game, by the way.
No, like everybody thinks John. I used to love Crossfire, by the way, when it
Damn
was
straight you did.
running. I
Like,
loved it.
Cross
It was
balls
one of
was so much
my- one of my
better.
favorite things back in the day. But
Cross balls
everybody
was so
thinks
much
Jon
better.
Stewart owned Tucker Carlson, but if you watch it, that's not what happened. That's not
Is
at
it
all what happened.
Is what happened.
Tucker Carlson destroyed Stewart, and all Stewart had was, I'm a
You know when
comedian.
Tucker Carlson's scared
I'm a
because he does
comedian.
that laugh.
It's different when I do it. That's all Stewart had was it's different when I do it. Literally, that's it. And that's what they still rely on to this day. They get away with it, so I understand it. It's for it's like an
dude, look,
it's like
you
some
don't
sort of
understand the joke.
evolutional.
I get it. You don't understand the joke. Conservatives don't get jokes. The
Oh,
joke
Brandon.
I'm not even a conservative, and I
joke
love
is-
comedy.
The joke
What are you
is, it
talking
always
about?
was with the Daily Show, is that the person
What?
that is running manning
What?
the Daily Show is pretending to be a news anchor.
Hanging up. By the front door.
Unfortunately, our real news anchors are so shitty that most people think that the comedian news anchor is telling them the truth.
But
That
that's
was all
Democrats
joke.
that think
That was
that.
the joke when Jon
That was
Stewart had the
Democrats.
show, and that was the joke long before Jon Stewart when John Daly had the show. That's the reason why
So
it was called.
You
I
don't
don't
think
know
that
if-
those type of
I don't know if
shows are
that's
used for
true.
propaganda?
I don't know if that's a joke. I think
I don't
maybe
understand how
get
you
it.
can. I just don't understand how you can like disassociate the fact that that type of media comedy can't be used to push a narrative.
Of course,
Hold
it
on.
does, and it is. It's like
Hold
a
on.
bolster to the state propaganda. Oh, there he goes. Well, it is. It's like the
It's just
that
different
the
flavor.
Daily Show is the worst offender, but it's like a bolster to the propaganda that's already being pumped out from the state, and it doesn't matter if it's a Republican or Democrat in office. And
We're on the stream.
I will tell you right now, it's going to be less and less Republican, if ever again. But yeah, it's all in there in place to bolster Democrat Party power and left power.
Did you say Democrat on purpose?
Democrat. Yeah.
Oh, it was on purpose.
You kind of freaked me out. I thought that was Ellen. I thought that I honestly thought the Junon ghost was about to destroy me.
Oh, is that your lady?
Yeah.
Congratulations for the video debut. I'm pretty sure all the time we've chilled, that's the first time I've seen your wife show.
Yeah, she doesn't really get on camera. She doesn't really.
He's the best.
I'm stoked that
But
Sarita's
you can
in
get on
here.
camera. I don't care.
I'm feeling saucy.
We just got
Oh.
back from her parents and we had some drinks, so we're
Nice.
a little saucy.
Mm.
Everybody's a
mint
little saucy.
couple of mint juleps over at the parents' house.
I
You
thought
know you have wine up there,
I
right?
thought they were all British.
You know I got wine for you too, right?
You did?
Oh
Yeah, it's
no,
okay.
the British guys passed out. It's all Americans here.
Oh,
And
lame.
I'm not passed
I
out.
wanna
I'm
hear-
here.
I want to hear the
He's
Australian
there.
female and the American
No,
female.
she
I'm-
thought you
I'm
were
here.
British for some reason.
Ah.
You know what? She thought you were the guy that used to be like paired up with Hayden. I forget his name.
Graham.
The guy that used to, Graham. Yeah, Graham.
Graham Booth. Yeah,
Yeah,
love Graham.
she thought you were Graham.
Not Graham.
We were talking about you tonight at her parents.
How many people are on this?
Just these people.
Oh, okay. Then
I'm
All right.
glad that your house didn't fall down when the boiler broke, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see. There's like a pile of stuff behind me. It's because I'm drying out the floor because we flooded down here because the water heater went out.
Get started
Well,
on this.
Yeah.
Back here.
Here. Hold on. Okay.
Did you guys have a dehumidifier set up?
Yeah, that's going in the room next to us
I
here.
nag
There's
about
another
it
room over
every
here.
day.
Yeah, there's another room. She wants me to bring it over here, but I'm just make sure that room's good. It stinks down
What do
here.
you nag about though? That it's running?
Today I did all.
The humidifier in that room, but it needs to be in this room.
Yeah. She's smart. Yeah, airflow.
Life
Got-
things.
Stop those things from growing. You know those.
Does Drone Tech put his dirty clothes in the hamper, or does he drop them on the floor?
We all drop them on the floor.
And then I pick them up and I throw them down the stairs and I gather them on the landing and I take them to the mudroom where the
Honestly,
laundry stuff
Drone
is.
Tech he's really good at the house.
There
Good
you
job,
go.
buddy.
I try.
As
She's
I
much,
need to be
covering
better.
so hard right
as
now.
much as anyone can be.
Does he close the drawers on the dresser or leave them like an inch open?
I don't worry about that
Well,
shit.
let me.
He leaves
I
them
have
open,
to because I have to walk past it and I like bump into it if I don't.
And she's very short, so it could kill her. It
Yeah.
could take her out at the neck. So
Honestly, we haven't set up the drawers yet.
Yeah,
We're just like pretty much on clothes. on
everything's in the
floor.
garage at the moment. All that stuff. I gotta
Yeah.
move it up.
I do Marie Kondo though, which means she basically says throw all of your shit away.
That's good.
Yeah.
is that a
In
clothing?
Junon voice.
So
Oh.
Dank, Dang. So you think this? You think it's not a? You think your party's not basically taking authoritarian control of the country right now?
Oh no.
It's just wild to me. It's just wild to me. And you're proving the thing I've said for like 20 years. You know that? Dang? For 20 years, I've said
Okay,
that.
so
I can show you posts I
how is
made.
it authoritarian?
No,
How is it
stop.
authoritarian?
For 20 years,
how
I
is it
said you guys
authoritarian
were going to do this kind of
to
shit.
convict a
And you're
criminal?
going to think you're completely justified in it. And you're just proving it right now. You're doing it. And like you, I'm sure people like you and me, we're both history kind of buffs. It's dang. Where are you going? Dang.
He's still there.
You're a history
I'm
buff
still
like me,
here.
right? You've wondered how like the Nazis came about and how like things like that just in general in history happened. It's like, how did the society let that? You are it, man. You're it.
Do you think that Hitler came about?
Looks like you were
Oh, wait a
letting it
minute,
happen.
dude. You asked me a question. Let me retort.
Okay.
Do you think that Hitler came about by like convicting his political opponents?
No, not necessarily, but he would
Okay,
do that.
so you don't think that Hitler
I'm not even
think that
talking about
Hitler used
necessarily
the
Hitler.
power of the court
I'm
to
talking
like
just
you
in
know
general
be
of
able
like
to win an election?
authoritarian. I'm talking about like authoritarian states, more so like modern ones, like Russia
America.
and China specifically. I feel like our government, the current government, Democrats in general, want to emulate something like that, and they are trying to push us towards a one-party state where folks like me are pushed to the periphery as much as possible, outlawed if they can, and then it'll just
But
be
wait
a
a minute,
dictatorship.
wait a
basically.
minute. What would you say if I told you that Republicans call Democrats pedophiles?
Chances are good. I would say the chances are good.
Do you think that might be the same exact argument that you're making?
Or center?
That Republicans call Democrats pedophiles?
Chances are good.
Yeah, well, you're
all right.
you're
So
saying
I'm gonna do it different. I'm gonna play my. It's different when we do a card.
One party
Hold on.
control.
All right, I'm gonna play our. It's different when we do a card. All right, bam, and I'm gonna say that there is a difference, and the difference is that you guys hold all the institutional power, and we have none, and so like we can't really. And it's just like the racism thing. Honestly,
That's the Uno reverse card,
on
dude.
your game, I'm woke, I guess.
I hate
You guys have the institutional power. We don't.
us versus them needs to die.
So like you guys can actually do something with
agree.
it, and so I can come at you and be that way, all right? But I can't do anything with it, right, Dank?
We're not Republican.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I really don't, dude.
You really don't. So
No,
like, just look at what's happening now.
Well, we live in two different worlds. You see, I live in the world in which when a criminal commits a crime, they go through the court system
Right,
and are
okay.
judged by a jury of
Okay,
their
but
peers.
you're talking like it's just like a
You
normal
live
thing.
in a world. Wait a minute. You live
You're
in a
talking
world.
like just a normal person.
You
It's
live in
Donald
a
Trump
world
just before an election.
where you live in a world where once you touch the president flag, you are immune from any crime that you may
Okay,
have committed.
so
in
name
the
another
past
president.
or
Go
may
for it.
commit in the
I'll give you 10 minutes. Name another president this has happened to.
10 minutes.
George Washington.
I'll give you a
Well,
30 minute. I'll give you a 30 minute
Nixon,
timer.
If
Go for
Nixon
it.
had
Bam.
not resigned, it would have been him.
Who?
Abraham Lincoln.
I can
another
do you one
Republican.
better. I can do you one better. I can
Abraham
name you the
Lincoln
list of
was
presidents that it should have happened to.
He got wrecked.
Every
You
one
have
of
no
them
answer.
since
Stop.
the
Just stop,
Nuremberg
Dink.
trial.
Stop. You have no answer. Say it's never happened before. And you know what else has never happened before? These charges that came against Trump in New York with the hush money thing. It's never happened to anyone anywhere ever.
All right, it's
And
late
the
out
legal
here. My
theory that was
wife's
used to
trying to
do it-
sleep. I've got to go.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I mean, dude,
Well,
you banned me from your
look at the
Discord. Otherwise, we
time.
could do this
Gotta
a lot.
go.
Ooh.
Gotta go.
That's my wife, by the way, throwing Drown Tech
I
wife a
did come
little
late.
love.
I did come very late. I did come very late.
Tell you what, I'll get
Dang,
on my
let's do
phone
this
and go
again.
outside.
Let's do this again.
No,
Let's do this again.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay.
What do you think?
Hey, we're not Republican. I'm not a Republican.
We're not. We're dead. It's so funny you see me as like, okay.
There's no you versus them. Like when people start realizing like it's all a class system. It's not.
Yeah, well, that's true too. That is
It's
true.
not.
That is true. I mean, especially when it comes to the DEI racial stuff. It's like it doesn't need to be racial. There could be DEI, but like if it didn't take race into consideration, then it wouldn't be as nefarious, right? Because it would just be like it would be class.
Well, just opt out, people. Opt out of the DEI shit that's going on in your school.
Well, it's already going. It's already happening. It's,
Yeah,
So wait,
DEI
are you saying that if we work together in a
Nope,
loving way, that it would be a good thing?
Oh my gosh! I
don't think that would work. I think
Oh
that's
my
why nations
gosh.
fail, is because they try and
I'm
love
a
each other.
liberal. Like I'm a liberal, but then I
She
realized
is.
that
I remember. I remember when I started red pilling her or whatever you want to say.
it wasn't
funny.
him. What it was shit. What's his name?
Clinton.
From Infowars.
Oh,
Alex Jones?
No, the guy,
Schroeder?
Paul Joseph
Oh,
Watson.
Paul.
In
PJW,
2015, before the election,
the original Chad.
Before my time.
when Germany happened, when the rapings happened in Europe, and they showed women being gang raped on the subways, that's when I was red pill.
Laura Logan got raped then too.
That
Wait,
is
why
when
was
I
that a red
realized-
versus blue thing? What I don't understand.
Huh?
Why is that a red pill?
Because the liberals were
red
letting in
pill is
all
like-
of these illegal people who were.
Well, red
like we're
pill
doing?
is like I was a liberal but didn't understand. Like it just like opened my eyes. But he showed a video of a woman being dragged down into the. I don't even know where the fuck.
It was
they were
Laura
here.
Logan. It was Laura Logan. Yeah,
Like a trapdoor
That's what
spider?
she's thinking of. Yeah. Do you guys know that there's video of that,
It's
right?
disgusting.
I haven't seen it.
It's
Laura Logan. You guys know who Laura Logan is? She's a journalist.
I
She
know
was
who,
a left. She was
Hank
like
Logan.
a kind of left wing kind of
don't
chick.
watch it.
And then she went
Come
to
Isn't it Lara Logan?
Laura Logan. Yeah, she's it's a very crazy story. Like
It is.
she was
That
targeted.
is
She was
deplorable.
targeted actually by the Obama administration because she was critical of the Obama administration, and then she went to
I don't even know where
was
it
it
was.
Iran? It was
No, it was not Iran.
Egypt.
No, it was in a European.
No, it was in it was Germany or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she got bum rushed by a bunch of like Middle Eastern men, Pakistanis or something.
It wasn't a
Bum
bunch,
rush
it
is
was
a
like
poor choice
70.
of
They
word.
raped her. They raped her, and it's
70.
all on camera. Like the whole thing was recorded. It's
Did you have
bad.
to use the word bum rushed?
It was bad. It was bad. And if you look, she's still a journalist. She's a very pro-Trump journalist now. She's she got targeted by the media and attacked and discredited and because she became pro-Trump, like, and
It's not even
after
about
that,
Trump.
after the rape happened,
Like,
she became very anti like
Trump
mass immigration
is-
and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Trump is the thing is, when Trump came on, Trump was a symptom. The reason why we wanted him, because it was a big nah to everyone that was doing everything to us.
And they did it back with two
I mean,
fingers.
it's gonna do it again, right? That's totally what's gonna be.
But now it's like World War III is coming and the Civil War.
Do you think that Trump will
what do
be
you guys
the
think
one
about that?
that
Do you
make
guys
it happen?
think we're basically on an escalatory path towards World War III? I feel like it's unavoidable at this point. I feel like we're definitely doing it. We're
I
definitely
disagree.
Really?
Agreement.
I think that's hyperbole when people go into that narrative.
I'm not saying nukes necessarily. I'm saying conventional World War III. We're heading for it.
Why are we not already in one with a different definition?
Okay, well, it's not quite World War III yet, but I'm saying like I'm saying nukes are definitely possible, and it makes me nervous how people act like it's not a real possibility. Like Russia will never do it. I think that's crazy.
I don't
But-
think it could happen anytime.
It's just weird because we used to be completely different, right? We were very on guard for that, right? But now all of a sudden we're like screw it, which I want to fight Russia. Don't get me wrong. I think they're evil as fuck, and I want to fight them, and I support Ukraine and all the neighboring countries. I do.
Yeah, I don't want to
No,
fight.
but
them.
I do support Ukraine. I do.
But I mean,
Don't
is
draft
it like
me for that one, Drone. Don't draft me, dude.
Okay, well,
I was at a
I
high
don't
school
believe in
sporting event last weekend, and I heard this kid saying like, "Low key, yo, I don't drive well, low key." Is this like a low key, like we're getting into World War III, but it's low key, like kind of like
Using
Right.
that modern tongue.
I don't think
We are getting into World War III, and I even think maybe that's what this mass immigration stuff's about. So that both Europe and the U.S. have tons of people. We can just send millions, tens of millions that we can just send to war.
I
Right?
disagree. I think
that's what it's about.
I think
honestly.
it's a population issue because the white people aren't having children.
Well, that's part of it.
You won't get a chance to send tens of thousands of millions of people because he'll just use a fucking nuclear missile. And to be quite honest, you were saying, people are not like taking it seriously. You're absolutely damn right. You take a 1 kiloton nuclear missile, which is the weakest of the whole arsenal. You drop one in the north of Ukraine on the battlefield, not in a populated area. You drop one in the south on the battlefield, not in a populated area, and the West will shit itself. The West will shit itself. There is no way this world is going to have a nuclear war over a corrupt country that is not in NATO and is not in the EU. It's ultimately their problem. They shouldn't have got into bed with you guys in the first place. There is so much money being made behind the scenes that the US find it profitable for this. The US are in a brilliant situation. They're making not just millions and billions, they're making trillions of millions of pounds out of this war, and they haven't had to put one US soldier on the ground. They want it to prolong it as long as they possibly can.
Wait, Lee, you said we're making or spending? I'm sorry, I misheard you.
You are making. You look at the profits from Radion. Look at the profits from Lockheed. Look at the petrol companies. Within the first quarter of this year, they've made billions of pounds. Not just billions of pounds. They're making so much money out of this. I've said to you before, I don't think you've been present, Drone Tech. The United Kingdom's exports to, I think it's Azerbaijan or however you pronounce it, has gone up 1,100% with the components that are needed to make missiles. France, Macron just absolutely pisses me off. Since the beginning of this year until the end of March, Macron has spent £600 million on crude oil, which is a loophole from Russia because it's been turned into crude oil. Also, have you noticed? I don't know if it's been reported in your country. Ukraine have been found guilty of buying diesel from Russia.
I know, crazy.
Surprise!
We love your background.
There's so many other aspects to this war where people are making money. It's unbelievable. They don't want this war to end. They want to drag it out. And meanwhile, whether you like them or not, there are innocent young Russians, innocent young Ukrainian men dying for no reason. And I leave you with this. This is another interesting point. Whenever there is war, usually there is somebody talking about let's try and get around the table and have.
You're right. I agree. You're right. About usually they're talking about peace. You're right. That's why I say what happened to World War III. It's a constant escalating.
It's like we're always heading towards a war. It doesn't matter.
But even like besides that, like the Ukraine war.
Sorry, I just flipped out. Then please just let me finish my point because I just want you all to try and think about this. Right, I think it's an important point. Okay. You've got nobody wanting to talk peace, which is I find really strange. Even the head of the Catholic Church, the Pope, tried to mention it a few weeks ago and was absolutely torn apart for doing so. What I don't understand from the West's point of view, to get mass support from the whole of the world, if you went to the peace table and said to Putin, we need you to pull right back to your borders, and get the hell out of Ukraine, and we're and come to some negotiation. You might have to make an odd compromise or two. If he then turned around and said no, you've got him in checkmate. But no one's even prepared to do that. They won't even go to a peace table and have a conversation with him. So it's bloody odd.
You're saying that no one over the course of the whole war tried to sit at a table.
No, they've got a peace conference coming up. I think is it in either Saudi or Sweden, but the Soviets are invited. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
I don't know. I feel like someone would have been sitting at a table or sending an email here or there.
Yeah, it
He's
sucks.
gone on TV, whether it's with Carlson and other state conversations that he's had to his own nation, saying he is willing to talk, but nobody wants to talk with him because they're making too much money.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said before, I don't know if you heard it before. I don't know if I cut out. America are loving it. They're having a proxy war with the USA. There's not one American soldier on the ground, and they're making billions of pounds. It's a perfect situation for the USA. And stupid Zelensky and the stupid Ukraine have got in bed with America, and eventually it will leave them like they've left every country in the Middle East in a complete mess. The old saying of "catch a tiger by its tail" is absolutely right for the Ukraine.
They're getting better at leaving them high and dry, though.
But in the meantime, I know we can joke about it. Let's not forget, innocent lives are being lost for nothing. I mean, I would hate to fight a war in this day and age. No wonder there's 768,000 Ukrainian men that have gone across to the border of Romania and the rest of Europe because, you're fighting against drones. This isn't a trench warfare where you've at least got a little bit of a chance.
I watch videos every day.
Oh, I hate
I've been watching them for the entire war.
Kill me now.
Yeah, they're pretty gross.
Gross.
They are.
I know. I watch Russian soldiers just get massacred every day.
Oh, sure. Same here. Yeah, chaotic is a good one.
No
Chaotic.com.
Like lots of them. I'm amazed by it. It's like, man, they're just like grinding these guys. They're just meat grinding these guys out.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the Russians, you don't know where the conscripts end and the soldiers begin.
Right.
But on the Ukrainian side,
they're using those Napoleon recruits and those fucking African recruits and shit. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Russia
does not care.
You see those African recruits getting bombed with grenades constantly and killed. And, it's crazy.
No one here likes war.
I don't like war.
Too right.
Man.
It's an awful thing. It's horrific.
That's what's crazy is like AFID and you guys know, like us Republicans and stuff now, we're always
I'm not a
branded.
Republican.
Okay, well I am. I'm an independent, but I agree mostly with Republicans, all right? But anyway, but like
he doesn't.
All right, anyway, but like they get accused of being pro Russia all the time and shit. That's such bullshit. And I don't know. Fuck Russia. And I've followed this war way before a lot. Probably, I'm not gonna say before Smoke.
A long time.
I've been following it a long time since the beginning. And
like 2013?
2014,
yeah,
13 or whatever. I've been following it hardcore since then, and like I support Ukraine, right? I support Ukraine, and fuck Russia.
Well, you should have been following. You should have been following it from 2008, and then you'll realize why the USA. Excuse me, my American cousins have got involved to fuck this right up, and then you realize that actually you guys are the fucking problem. America's the fucking problem, and you look at it from 2008. Look at what was signed, and look what you've reneged on. And then you realize why. And I always give you the same example every fucking week. When Russia tried to go into Cuba, you're willing to drop fucking bombs, and when they want to go into the Ukraine, you're like, oh, why are you getting all fucking touchy? Well, you're on our border as well. You're on our border as well. So fuck off.
They need to stop. And they need to stop because otherwise this spirals into World War III and nuclear war, and we're all dead. So like this guy
exactly.
Exactly. Right to your senator drone tech.
Don't try to be self-righteous about why are Russian doing this, because if there's one country that's the most guilty in the world of going everywhere and anywhere to get whatever resources they want is you guys. And to make it fair, before it was you guys, and to make it fair, now listen, to make it fair, because I'm not being biased, the guys that did it before you was us with our empire. So we're just as guilty as you.
Listen, man.
Right, so it's better us than Russia, right? So
listen, man.
No, but what I'm saying is, don't be. This absolute brought up with this thought that Russia are always evil. You're prodding them. You keep prodding them constantly.
Is fucking evil in this, man. Did you see what
No,
they
they're
did
not.
to?
No, they're not. It's
did you
like
see how
that's
they
like
bombed the fuck out of that
that's
city?
like you're so fucking wrong. Listen to what I've got to
David, why
say.
did you trigger Lee?
You say Russia is so
Lee.
fucking evil. No, it's not. I'll tell you
I'm not
what's
saying
evil.
Russia
It's the
itself is evil.
government's
The
evil.
Russian
The government
youth is
is evil.
fucking
That's like
evil.
saying all
Be quiet.
Israelis are evil.
Russia is not evil.
Netanyahu,
I
as
don't
far as
think
I'm
Russia's
concerned, is evil. Yeah, exactly.
Stop.
Thank
Lee.
you. Thank
Lee.
you. Thank
Lee.
you. Thank you.
Stop.
Yeah.
Russia's not evil. Putin is fucking evil, and the things that he's
100%.
doing are fucking evil on behalf of Russia. So, what we are seeing some Russians rebel. We're seeing that a lot in oh my god, my brain is not working.
That
You can do
Russian-
it.
That
You can
border
do it.
area where we're seeing a lot of skirmishes and fighting. So we're seeing some stuff going on there, but for the most part, the Russian public is fully freaking. From what I've seen, these interviews and stuff on the streets, they are fully invested.
Yeah,
It's like the Nazis.
Yeah, and if
Like
they're
the
not
Nazis.
drone tech, if they're not fully invested, then they're going to get killed or disappear. So it's probably
No.
a fear factor
Oh,
from their
yeah,
point of view.
yeah, you're right.
Lee-
As a
Lee-
society goes,
Lee,
right?
what-
So that's not a good society, right? That's not a. You
No,
can't say that's
too
a-
right.
a
I
good
agree with you.
society.
Yeah,
I
Lee,
agree with
what's the
So we're in
endorsement?
agreement then.
What's the endorsement percentage on Putin for the general public? High, very high.
Yeah, but once again, because if you're not seen, it's like North Korea. If you're not seen to support the leader, you're probably going to end up disappearing, and your family.
We're
Yeah,
working
but
on that.
you
Yeah,
say
I'm gonna-
it's like North Korea, but it's not North Korea.
No, but it certainly works under the same kind of. What's the word I'm looking
I don't
for?
think so. I don't think I can't speak to it. Can you? Are you saying they are legitimately under threat of disappearing for supporting the wrong political candidate?
Yeah, I think they can do. I mean, just look a few months back, we had somebody who opposed him, who wanted to run against him in an election. He goes to prison and then mysteriously dies. You know, I think it is that kind of country.
I would agree.
I'm sure he died of COVID.
The Alex guy there, the Cavalny, yeah.
Bless
Definitely.
It looks gefilte fish.
you. Bless you again.
Yeah, it's a great subject. Interesting, very interesting subject.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Lee gets a little heated.
Well, I tell you why, Fid, because sometimes I just think it's unfair to paint everybody with a black brush. I mean, I've met Russian people while this conflict.
Oh, it's a little racist there, but
why this conflict's been going on. The nicest person. It seems to me whenever I meet anybody from any religion, any color, you know, when it's just a one-on-one, we're having a chat, everything's fine. The only time people tend to turn against each other and get, you know, subdividing everything is when politicians get involved. That seems to be my experience in life. Most people get on, live their life. They can pray to whoever they want to pray to, follow whatever they want to do. And most people get on until politicians get involved and start telling us that we don't like them or we don't like that country or these are terrorists and they might just be fighting for their rights, whatever it might be. Most people just get on. If you leave people to get on with to themselves, they actually get on with each other.
Agreed.
I see Steve thinking about the Beastie Boys. I appreciate that.
I wasn't, but I appreciate it.
Oh, damn it. I'm just going to pretend like that's what happened.
I just look forward to the next time Lee pronounces the leader of Russia.
Are you
I can't do it. I try. I keep getting this mind block. It's, I know it's just ridiculous.
Vladimir Putin.
The P is
Netanyahu. What is it? How do I say it? Say it phonetically so I can understand. Netanyahu. Is it? I don't know.
Can you say poo? Can you say like poo poo?
Poo poo. Yeah.
Yeah. So just put Putin. Putin.
Oh, that's Putin.
Like Putin.
But he still mispronounced it. Yeah, see, there was a miscommunication there. Lee thought he was trying to say Netanyahu.
Yes.
You guys are instructing him on Putin.
It's Putin.
Oh, yeah. You're on your own for that one.
Not Putin. It's Putin.
Yeah.
Putin.
Actually, we don't really know how to pronounce his name. It's a Russian name. You got to hear it pronounced in Russian to know how to say it.
Yeah, proportionate. Yeah, something like
exactly.
He was
that sounded good.
He was a renowned caviar stealer, fisherman. That
That's a
Putin.
strange profession.
I would love to do that.
Steal
I'd like to
caviar
I'd like to put that Putin in the boot.
Yeah.
and wait for a nice food sale.
Putin and PewDiePie. They go together.
You fish for these giant fish after dark. You steal their eggs, sell them for $400 an ounce.
You've already like planned it out. That's a little bit extreme.
That's how
You
we
probably-
do it here.
Don't you have to kill the fish to get the eggs?
That goes without saying, Last Dance.
I
but-
mean, it's not like he waits for them to lay the eggs and then grabs them.
In case you need clarification, yeah, we hack the fish up into pieces when we do our criminal enterprise.
But do
Are
you
you guys
kill
talking
them?
about boring things again?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're talking about how
Boring,
everything
boring,
illegal
old,
fishing
boring
is.
people.
Old.
What? You don't
Yeah,
think
right.
that
Let's go.
pirating caviar is exciting, Drone Tech?
Who's old?
He just doesn't appreciate fine caviar or crappy, horrible caviar. Are we done on politics then? Are we
I
moving
like
on?
oysters.
If we're done with
Sure.
politics, what good am I? I'm
They
basically
didn't
used
get to
to
say
it.
goodbye to Lee.
True.
Yeah, well, what
Unless
politics?
we talk about movies or anime
Like They Live?
So,
or
No,
games.
no, we're not done with politics.
Schwarzenegger movie.
What movie?
What
What's up, Aphid? How you doing, buddy? I
you
wanted to
doing,
talk to you
man? How you-
specifically tonight.
doing?
I haven't really got to talk to you. I
Do
freaking
it.
love your whole setup again. Like, I feel like you've done more work to it. It's amazing, dude.
It's always
I
a
can't
work
tell
in
you that
progress.
enough, man.
I think it's been pretty stable.
I hate
I'm
you for
waiting for
everything
some
else you
radical
stand
changes.
for.
It's been
I'm
it's been the
joking.
same for several months now.
He does. I'm joking.
Since
This
I
is how
redid
men
the game shelves back here.
Yeah.
You need to come over,
Man.
Drone Tech, and we'll play some old Xbox 360 games.
Oh
Or
my God.
Hell yeah, man. Where are
Guys,
you?
like
Where are
Contra,
you?
dude.
What
I want to
state
see
are
you
in?
guys beat
St.
Contra.
Louis. I got some Contra games.
Next time I go to Florida, we'll stop by there.
He's in
It's
Florida.
just-
Yeah,
No,
St.
he's in
Louis
St.
isn't on the
Louis.
way to Florida. Is
It's
it?
right next
Wait.
to it.
Louis is nowhere near.
Oh wait, I'm
Florida.
thinking of the way to I'm on the way to the wedding. Can we do it there?
No.
Where's St. Louis?
St. Louis is in the middle of the country. So
Why?
right in the middle.
Always hang
I've
out here
been
in the
to
North
St.
Carolina
Louis,
foothills.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. I've been through St. Louis, so like
It's in Missouri.
so it was coming home from Utah then.
No.
St. Louis, Chicago.
How have I been through St. Louis?
You have it.
Missouri.
I have. I have.
I can't
Driving
answer
or
that question
flying?
for you, Drone Tech.
I know for a fact. I've seen
Yeah.
It's in
the
the corner of
I-
your
the
red
arch.
street.
I've seen the arches, right? Is the
The
arches
gateway,
that-
Yeah.
just
McDonald's,
one
right?
arch.
The arch.
Just
Yeah, I've
one
been
arch.
through there. I've been through
The
there.
gateway
Where
to the
did I-
west.
How
Yeah,
did I get there?
2 arches is McDonald's.
I don't know. Somehow I
One
got
arch
there.
is
I
St.
don't.
Louis.
Anyway,
I
moving on.
I rode a train once from Chicago to Fargo, and it was absolutely terrible. It's the
Amtrak?
worst. Yeah.
What was wrong with it?
I like Amtrak. I had a good time out west.
Other than it takes forever.
Yeah, but if you have a bed car, I went from Maryland to California.
Yeah.
So it was
Wow.
it was fun. I enjoyed it.
That's a long.
If you don't have
train ride.
anywhere to be and you have a stop near to where you live, it's great, probably. But I just had to travel too much to get it to it.
Right. Yeah. No, their hubs are not very convenient for every location. I agree. And Chicago is sketchy. I'm sorry. It's just sketchy.
Yeah.
I've never been to Chicago.
I had a layover too, so I'm just like,
Yeah, I've heard long train rides with many stops is not very reliable as far as time goes.
Amtrak did a great job. It was on time 100%. It was exciting though because there was people illegally on the train and the feds came in and were like combing the train. So that was exciting.
Like,
oh, so cool.
Should I ask Aphid his stance on the Trump verdict?
Sure, man.
Sure.
You know, I wasn't that invested in it, to be honest with you.
You're not that invested in it, huh? Either way. So you don't care about the democracy. You don't care about
Give us that
fair
Trump
elections. You don't care about it. Stop. I'm dealing with Aphid.
Well, to bring up the Aphid does.
No, he's gay. He's,
Aphid?
He's a famous rapper.
I'm just trying to instigate this man.
Don't I look? I look just like a famous rapper, don't I?
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's just we've been opponents. I think going back to the Lively Forum days, right?
Really?
MC White, drop your thunder.
I think I brought, and you weren't here, unfortunately, but like a week or two ago, I brought up our
Somebody needs to bring
Ted
the mic
Cruz.
closer.
our most heated one I think we ever got into was the Ted Cruz debate on
Backbone.
Oh yeah.
Backbone conversation.
I thought he shit on his dad is I think what I kept repeating because I
Figuratively speaking.
Ted Cruz is definitely.
I was heavily influenced on a bottle of wine after beer.
Ted Cruz is definitely a weird dude. I've always thought that. And I think most politicians are weird motherfuckers, to be honest. I think Dan Goldman's a weird ass motherfucker. Dan Goldman. I think Ted Lieu's a weird ass motherfucker. I think, man, God, I think most Democrats are, man. They're all weird as shit. Most Republicans are weird as shit too. But there's some good ones. I like
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Nah, I'm
Lauren
not
Boebert.
Nancy Mace.
I'm gonna go for Crockett, man.
I like Mace.
The lashes.
Mace, actually.
What are you talking about?
Crockett? You like Crockett?
Yeah, she's sexy, dude. She like winks at me, and I'm just like, oh, I felt the wind on that. Your lashes.
I was always more of a Tubbs fan.
I feel like I'm watching freaking In Living Color, like a skit.
Oh no, he
Living
did.
Color.
There's something about Nancy Mace that I like. I can't quite put my finger on it.
That's called
I can't
assault.
believe you guys know all the names to these politicians.
Got him.
Got him. No, yeah. They're all shit, but who are we failing as a country? Are we falling apart?
We the people, or
if the people that we've elected are all fucking losers, then what's that mean?
AI.
I hate to say it, Drone Tech, but I'll be able to answer that post Trump.
Well, we're at a point in our country now, okay? We're all smoking, drinking, playing video games, ignoring the obvious here. But look, our sitting president is trying to literally imprison his opponent before the election.
You just need a Netflix and chill, Drone Tech.
His support-based minions out there are helping him to do it. And look, when have we ever thought something like this was happening in anything but a third world fucking communist authoritarian state? It's happening here.
I guess what I'm saying, Drone Tech, is I'm not sure that the things you're talking about are unique to Trump, or are they something that's going to survive after Trump and still continue
absolutely.
On? You think the government would actually change drastically when Trump's out of the picture?
I like to believe it's momentary insanity.
Can I make a case that is something that's been in the works for a while and it will continue? Can I make a quick case? I'll make a quick case for you. So, look, go back to Bush. All right, George W. Bush. All right, let's just go back to that because it's actually a convenient date to start. That's the date that Democrats began election. Year 2000. They began election denial. They denied that Bush was elected. There was violence during the transfer of power. They attacked his motorcade. It sped off. It never had happened before. Nothing like that had ever happened before. Okay, it happened. We had that. And
that's it.
Yeah. And we're done.
We're drinking.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
charged.
Good story.
No, I'd have to say here's what I would say to that, Drone Tech. You're right about 2000, but that really was a bizarrely close election, especially in Florida. 2004, that's the bigger issue to me.
They tried the same thing then, though.
Well, they tried it with the Ohio, the debold voting machines and all that election denial. That was to me that was a more significant, troubling portend of things to come.
I had a greater point. I completely forgot it because I've had too much.
Well, we'll give you 10
I did have
points.
a good point that was gonna nail it, but
we'll give you partial credit.
Yeah. Hold on, real quick. What was the point I was reacting
What was
to?
the question
Yeah,
again?
we were asking. You said that I was
Temporary
suggesting
incident.
that the things you're talking about are not going to survive after Trump.
Oh,
we'll go
okay,
back.
yeah.
We'll
and that
go
was
back
my
to
point.
normal.
Okay,
is
oh
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
that's perfect. And so
Normal.
so it started then, and it's been going up until this point. And you had guys like Mitt Romney, okay, who were supposedly Mitt Romney, who was supposedly like the model.
Dogs on the roof.
He was supposedly like he's supposedly right now like the model Republican who we should be right now. We shouldn't be like Trump. We should be like Mitt Romney. But if you look, Mitt Romney, Joe Biden said that he was going to bring back slavery. He told black people that he was going to put you all back in chains. You remember that? And
Yeah.
he said that about Mitt Romney. And do you remember N-word Rock? Do you remember N-word Rock? That was supposedly like Mitt Romney's father owned land that had a rock that was called N-word Rock. Do you remember that was a big thing?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Google it. It was a thing.
And now
like,
he owns BlackRock.
right. So like what I'm saying is just like
Sounds like
they do this with every
Flintstones.
Republican. They amp it up every time, and then they hit Trump. And Trump, instead of just being a little bitch like every other Republican is, he fought back, right? He fought back with everything he had. And they came at him with everything they had. And what I mean by they, I don't necessarily know the state, the deep state, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that. Whatever is controlling this country came at him with everything they had. And so, like, when they try to say that Trump is a dictatorial threat or he's a threat to democracy or any of this, I laugh at it because to do any of that, you would need institutional support like they have, like they're doing right now, like we're watching them exert this force.
Okay, so
Trump,
on that
if
line,
he tried to do this, could never do it.
what do you think that is going to happen for the sentence? What type of wet noodle is he going to be slapped with?
They might give him prison. They really want to give him prison. They might give him prison.
Do you think that they will give them prison?
Yeah, I think they will.
You do? I don't think
Yes.
they will give them prison.
I think they will.
I
How
think
much,
that
Drone? How much?
Stop paying attention.
I think there's this weird wild card that might happen where Biden pardons Trump. By the way.
What?
Let me put that out there. I have this idea where Biden pardons Trump.
That's some.
And he's like, I don't want to divide the country and I want to bring the country together and blah, blah, blah. That's a possibility, I think, too.
T-shirt.
Wait. Pardons him before the election or after?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Sorry. Nope. Nope.
You don't think so? I think it's a possibility.
No.
Well, here's a question.
Because look at this. Think about it. Juan pardoning him labels him a criminal. Like it's like, yes, you're a criminal, but I'm going to pardon you. Okay, but even though we all know that's
Okay,
bullshit,
I
right?
can see that as a good chess tactic.
And then he comes off looking like a statesman, as a uniter, and people who might have been like, we're going to go Trump might be like, that's pretty
No way.
cool.
I'll
Here-
give you the
here's-
first point. I can't give you the second point.
Here's the problem.
I think that could be a wild card he plays. I'm just
Here's the
throwing that
problem.
out.
Biden cannot pardon Trump for the crimes that he was just convicted of
Why?
because they're state crimes and the
They'll
president
just
cannot
write a
pardon.
legislative. They'll just change that, and then they'll fix it.
Well, the document stuff is, but yeah.
Yeah, there's all right. There's a lot of stuff.
The document
Okay.
stuff also would make a lot of sense because Biden himself is guilty of violating the Espionage Act, right? Because he took those classified documents as a senator. He had them. He misstored them. And then who said during his report at the end of his report, the special counsel said that he was guilty of this, but that he would be too sympathetic to a jury because he's old and he's mental
Senile.
now.
He
and
gave
that
him
would
back
not
and he said he was
would not
sorry.
be prosecutable, and which is crazy because he's running for president, right? It's just one of those things. It's like in your face. This is a two-tier system kind of the thing.
It's all fake. I'm convinced it's all fake.
I believe it's theater. Also, I do entertain the conversation.
All part of the show.
What do you think is going to happen for the appeal? Do you believe that it will go to appeal? I don't think there's any other choice. What do you think will happen in the appeal? Will it be appealed?
It will be appealed.
You think it'll be appealed?
I
No,
love the appeal.
Did you see who the judges who would hear the appeal are? Did you see that?
I saw the picture. I know nothing of them.
Well, I don't even know if that's 100% true because I've seen a couple people challenge it. So, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I would
man.
not be surprised. I would not be surprised. But it looks like it's literally, and they celebrate this. It's a group of all women, black women judges.
It looks like
And-
troll bait.
And look, if it's all, but I did look, and that is a group, and that there was media. There's stories in the media about this group of women. And this, yeah. So like, it's
Exciting.
like, what are the odds? And somebody challenged me on this on Twitter, and I'm like, look, they're like, oh, I thought conservatives were all about merit, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are the odds that only a group of black women who are more statistically more likely to be Democrats all get positions? in
Yeah,
this?
but look at the Bronx, bro. If you look at the videos of the people from the Bronx, they're all for Trump hanging out with them. Loved it.
Right. All right. Well, maybe you're right. There might be something there. You're right, but
I don't know.
I'm just saying the way this is playing out. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's not even about Trump to me at this point. It's like the way they're fucking with the system, and it's like I just know if this was turned on them, it would never be allowed. I know that the fact they know they can exert this force on their opponents is bad. It's very bad because they will continue doing it over and over down to the regular guy like me.
The only reason why Trump was elected because it was a big middle finger to the establishment. And now we're in
They're really scared of Trump.
Like he is not part of the establishment.
He's
Like,
definitely
he's already bought into it.
He's like Neo. Maybe he is Neo.
But then you're talking against your own talking point, Miss Drone Tech, because you said it was all theater. If it's all theater, then Trump is a part of the theater also.
But
he loves it.
He is.
He loves it.
He's literally in our theater.
That's the point. It's like
He's in Home Alone too.
you get into these weird 80s movies where you don't know what's real.
What do you think,
and
Free
not.
Trump?
Like,
I'm wondering what Free Trump thinks over here.
I'm thinking it's all.
Is he in him or is he in
No,
regular?
he's been showing up for years. He's here.
Oh, okay, good.
He's regular.
He's
Right.
regular.
It's all theaters.
Hi,
This is
Sue.
political
Hi.
interference. Hello.
Nice to meet you.
I think it's a witch hunt. That's what I
Yeah,
think.
totally, 100%.
Totally.
Did you guys see the article written by the CNN senior analyst in the Independent about how he believes it is a total hit job and it's a sham?
Who's
and
the
it's
CNN
dangerous
senior
and all
analyst?
this?
Someone's be working
Did you
with
guys see this article? You guys want me to link it?
Do you know who the journalist is?
If you watch my video, I did a thing about it in my video today, but
Today?
yeah.
Okay.
But let me get it anyway. Just give me a second. I'll get it.
No, is it a witch hunt? I agree 100% it is because they don't do the same thing to other politicians or anything.
Because they had a shit with Hillary Clinton, and you know she did the same things he did,
Right.
And she didn't get prosecuted. She didn't get prosecuted for bleach. But
She didn't.
Are we talking about the emails? Are we talking about the emails?
We are talking about the emails.
And Trump and
Well, it's
Trump
more than
never,
emails. It's
Trump
more than
never
emails,
brought it up
obviously.
for political gain at all. So
Yeah.
they're horrible.
I mean,
You know what? You know what?
Time. That's
Can I bring up? Can I bring up something interesting? I noticed that they're trying to say that Trump's current conviction is basically that the underlying crime is election interference. Do you know that? Like even Alvin Bragg said that.
Yeah, we were trying to define it in this panel. We spent quite a while trying to define
Right.
it.
And what was the conclusion?
Dance, that's all you, bro.
It's like it takes 4 or 5
Right. It's bullshit.
linked
It's
steps
bullshit.
to get there.
Right. So no, hold on. No, but look, but Alvin Bragg. Hold on though. Hold on. I already know all this. The Alvin Bragg.
Wait, is Smokesteve down?
Hold on, Alvin. He
might be, dude. Yeah.
He's just reading.
Alvin Bragg said himself that like it was election interference, right? And that's what this all amounted to, which is such bullshit because one, You could say that like Biden and what he did with the fake 51 intelligence experts was election interference. He should be charged. Or you could say that what they're doing right now is election interference, and they should be charged with the same. You know what I mean? Like it's so vague and retarded that like you can just broadly apply it. You know what I mean? Like it just bothers me. It's hugely shows how bullshit it is.
Do you think this will affect him with being elected, though?
He got, what did he make? $35 million just in one day after the verdict. So
I saw 56.
I think it's probably going to help him.
Okay, let me take that. Worst case scenario, they put him in jail for the rest of his life. Does it make a difference?
If they put him in the jail for the rest of his life, people are going to try and get him out, or he'll be Nelson Mandela at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Like the government
they put him in jail for the right amount of
empire,
years,
and we will because at that point, I don't know. We're never going to fight our government.
I think that the camp's already decided.
The only time we fight our government is when
if they
come
fight
to
us,
this.
right? Yeah, if they start coming at us, that's the only way it'll
I
happen.
don't think that's going to happen.
They're coming. They're
Well,
coming at
it
this.
is kind of already happening, but
Well, they're doing it not
it needs
like
to be a larger scale.
I'm not killing myself.
what?
Is that
Oh,
what
They're
you
killing you one
Oh,
brain.
what?
Cell.
No,
No.
he's just
Your
saying-
brain
he's just
cells,
saying,
not
like-
a bullet. They're taking your brain cells out. The system is destroying people's ability to understand reality.
And my kids aren't doing social media. So
RW.
I'm doing my part.
RW. So you've seen Yuri Bezmenov, and he specifically said that's what ideological subversion's goal is, so that people can't determine what is real and what isn't, and they can't make a logical decision, a good or bad decision. He said that was the entire goal.
Even the most elect could be deceived. Yeah, I think.
Has everybody seen that? Just by the way, I'm just throwing it out there. Yuri
No,
Bezmenov.
I haven't seen that personally. No.
Really?
Oh my.
Okay, so Yuri Bezmenov. Really? I'm amazed by that because I've talked about him often. Anyway,
And Rogan is like.
everybody's talked about him often, but Yuri Bezmenov, it was a KGB. He worked for the KGB, but he.
Outlines it all.
Me too.
But he,
Oh snaps.
he what do you call that when you
Defect.
Yeah, he defected to the U.S. There you go. And you can see his interviews. Now, you could say that he was just like a propagandist deployed to the U.S. You can see him either way, but I look at it and I'm like, damn, it's kind of close to what I feel like is happening in this country right now.
Right.
And I think he was probably being truthful.
I mean,
And he talks about this. He says that the communist various factions have been working towards towards ideological subversion in our country and all that stuff.
I mean, it's not just communism. There's also religion, Christianity and Judaism, and
I don't
all
think it's just
every
communism.
aspect can be used to break people.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he was talking about it like it's a coordinated.
Oh, who cares?
I think it is for sure.
I think that was
we're-
respectful, Dance.
We're at
Come
war.
on.
We're at war right now, guys. We are. We're just edging into World War III.
You guys are talking about like war, and I'm just thinking how Smokesteve looked like a offset extra from Lord of the Rings.
It was no aphid. It was like he
Passed
was
out after
like,
drinking.
It was like his
drinking
camera
too
was
much
frozen.
beer.
It was
He
like
looked
the
like
camera froze at a weird
He
position.
looked
or
like an
something.
animatronic that was turned off.
I mean,
I never fell
Let us know
asleep.
if he falls out of the chair, dude.
Man,
He seemed
celebrity
pretty.
talk,
He
that's
seemed
not
pretty
right.
founded.
Was he
I-
deep
I
in the
acted
I
based
see.
on a humanitarian request.
I see the request now, and I
Hey,
someone had to go
When
clean
you,
up.
here's aphid. I got a question for you.
Is
Sure.
it a?
Hold on, aphid
Yeah.
lip, aphid lip, right?
Why is it so confusing?
Aphid lip, right?
Call me fat.
Mhm.
Am I right? Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% correct.
Okay. Anyway,
For once in your life.
Oh,
No, I'm
Ooh.
just kidding. I'm sorry.
oh, good one.
I'm
Hey,
totally
you're
just
good.
kidding.
He's good. He's good.
I see one and I gotta
buddies.
jam it.
We're
I
buddies.
can't
It's
help
okay.
myself. I'm sorry.
Okay. So,
This man
what do you,
really?
okay, it's fine.
All day.
All right, so
All day.
tell me what you think. Who is the biggest? Give me a percentage. Who is the biggest threat to democracy in this country? Trump and Republicans or the left and Democrats?
Or other.
Or other.
No. I think that is those are the two biggest forces. Tell me who is the biggest threat to democracy, to so-called democracy.
I guess, the Western
Or the Republic.
The Republic.
Anybody that is further from the way things have been for
Let's
years.
answer. Who is the left? So you do have some reservations.
Sometimes the
You do have
extreme.
some
I wouldn't
reservations
say
about
Biden.
left
I wouldn't say Biden. So if it was between
Really?
Biden and Trump,
Do you
I'd
think
have
it's
to
a
say
bigger?
because Trump is further from normal than Biden is further from normal.
Okay.
So I'd have to say Trump.
Okay, but let me propose something. Let me propose
Ref.
something. I know. Hold on. So let me propose something, then you talk. So, okay, yes, I might agree with you on that, okay? But Trump, I feel like there's basically endless guardrails against him, while Biden, there's virtually none.
Well,
or any Democrat, really.
that's how you should put it, though.
Aphid, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're like
No.
all the institutions are aligned against Trump, while they're all for a
Who's more
Democrat.
dangerous, Biden or Trump, with policies?
To the Republic?
What do you mean with policies?
Who's the question?
I think Biden's. Well, I think Biden's a little too pro-war, so there's a big danger there.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
We all know our track record with that.
Bang,
last
bang, bang.
dance.
I would think that immigration is.
I get where you're coming from. Nathan.
Immigration
You're right.
war.
You're definitely right about that.
Immigration war.
And when it comes to our sovereignty and our republic, I think immigration is the biggest issue.
Well,
I
not
think that
immigration. It's not. That's not the right.
Sorry,
Why is immigration like
Not-
our biggest
sorry,
issue?
illegal.
on
Why is
everything?
it a big issue?
Let me say that differently.
No, I didn't say why is it a big issue. I said why is it the biggest?
We're being invaded, dude.
Right. So
We're literally
So
being
that's. I mean, I heard you guys earlier, which I don't agree with. That we're
There are
on the
people.
preface. Well, hold on,
Hold on,
Drone Tech. Hold on, Drone Tech. You were on board with just like maybe 45 minutes ago with we're headed towards World War III.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's not.
Immigration doesn't have nothing
We are
to do with World War
100%.
III.
World War III
So
is an issue.
if that's the case, then for your own argument, why would immigration be the most important thing? Wouldn't worried about going to World War III be the most important thing we should be worried about?
Well,
when it comes to the republic or our personal safety, like what?
Yeah,
What is
Aphid,
what is
actually, Aphid's got
I
a
mean,
point
World War
here.
III,
If-
and we're over with.
I gotcha.
But
Because if World War III is the biggest worry, then let's bring lots of bodies in to send off to war.
or let people
Like,
that we don't
point.
check in that could be terrorists. Either way.
I don't know
Right,
if you got World War III or being
Then you gotta
invaded by
balance the risk.
Mexicans on
Right, you got
my
to balance
hands.
the risk there.
Oh, that's
That's
not-
Worried about World War III would have to be down here. So I don't
right.
know.
Well, are you seriously not worried about World War III?
I think he's being.
Am I
Y'all are
worried about
crazy
it?
if
I'm
you're not
always
worried about World
look
War
in
III.
this modern day and age, everyone has to always be worried about
We
World
are
War III.
we are essentially in World War
But
III
do I
now.
think that we're at an elevated level more so than other times since World War II?
Yes.
Like
And I'll
the
tell you
most
why.
elevated? No.
Yes,
I don't
let me
think
tell
so.
you why. When have we ever had two legit militaries fighting each other in a meat grinder war that's literally it looks like World War II or World War One?
Wait, Ukraine is a major.
Yes. Do you follow this war, Aphid? Honestly,
But it's only because it's what they
it's
wanna
serious
tell
war.
you.
It's a real fucking war, dude.
I didn't.
Like a real.
I
Like,
never
we've
said it.
seen-
I never said it
We've
was.
never
I
seen
never said it
anything
wasn't.
like this ever, like in our lifetimes.
It is terrible.
We have not seen anything like this. Like, yeah, like two legit military powers going at each other.
But
Yeah,
also,
nothing like this.
but-
You don't know what you're talking about if you're saying
No,
that.
but also, don't derail from the original
don't.
what he said. We could have always been in this state. We're just viewing it now.
Yeah.
What is on the internet now in Ukraine is horrible. And if you haven't watched it, don't. But no,
It's okay. No, you should watch it.
No, don't. It's
You're talking to a bunch of live leakers.
Most of the
Yeah,
people
these
in
are
Washington
lively people.
I'm watching it right now.
They're all lively people.
Oh,
Lively.
I want to answer if it's
Lively.
listen though. When it comes to the republic itself, World War III
Yes,
is not
we're all
something I
lively
feel
people.
affects our republic. I think that it would unify the people almost and give them something to focus on and be we the people in one direction. When it comes
I
to
mean,
just hold on. When it comes to
Okay.
a large influx of many cultures coming in without a healthy control of it, I think that actually directly affects how the republic works because it's now made up of a different conglomerate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I would say, RW, is if I think of the outcome, the end result of World War III, I think there's a good chance that it's the non-existence
Nuclear option.
of us as a whole.
I mean, the chances of nukes flying, guys, you don't realize how we are really close to it. I don't think people realize. It's
There's no
weird.
defense
It's
system
eerie
to
as
stop
fuck to me that people don't realize how close we are.
Babe, we could have been there every day.
No,
Last
no.
Dance, what do you
No, no,
what do
no,
you
no,
put
no, no,
on
no. We are
the
really
DEFCON
close to
the
it, or
DEFCON
whatever.
level?
Whatever. No, I do
I-
know. No, I do know. I'm telling you.
Oh,
This is
God.
it's no look. This is a war that's escalating every day. Just read the news. We're escalating the missiles that the range they can hit and the
But they
level of
tell you
artillery
what they want you
that
to
they can
see.
use, and they're hitting longer targets into Russia, and it's just escalating more and more and more. And then Russia's going to hit somewhere and escalate more and more. And guys,
Sounds like wars and rumors of wars to me.
it's just going to run away into World War III and nukes. I'm just telling you, it will. On its current course, this is where we're headed.
Yeah,
Last Dance.
I've made this.
Just look
I've
at the
made this
news every
point.
day. It's escalating every day.
What is the DEFCON dance? I'm curious.
No, it's not.
I don't
It's
even know
not.
what is 5
are-
worse than 4. I can't.
Why didn't
remember.
just okay?
What, doomsday?
It's into
Doomsday
Russia,
clock.
I'd say we're
right? Am I wrong,
we're
guys?
as-
The
we're as
Russians
bad as
not
we were-
okay hits into Russia.
I just want to hear what Dan has to say for his
I'm sorry.
evaluation of the doomsday clock.
Yes.
I think it's as bad as it's been since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Really?
And oh yeah, not even close. It's
We are, yeah.
easily the worst it's been since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's way closer than people realize.
And every day it's escalation instead of negotiation. So it just keeps getting worse. And I don't know how do you know where the point of no return is? The only way you know is by going past it and saying,
causes
right.
a chain reaction.
the only way you know is by going past it and saying, whoops, that was too far.
Yep,
But it's
exactly.
too late then. There's no going back. So you
Dead
do
on.
have to stop before you get there. And so far there's no stop yet.
Last Dance, before you go to sleep tonight, make sure to PM me your telephone number so I can call you when I only get 3 hours of sleep tonight.
Dance, man.
Okay.
That is such a good point there, man. That going across yeah, you nailed it. And we are at that point at any moment. People don't realize we are right now. I've told people, if you have the money to build a bunker, you should probably do it. Not joking.
Yourself away from a major area.
And that assumes that nobody makes a mistake. If somebody makes a mistake, we could go tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you worried about Taiwan right now with all the actions around with China?
We're all vaporized.
What did you call that landmass? Topple?
Taiwan.
Oh man.
In this current climate that's going
I'm
on.
not as worried
Does
about
Putin run that?
Taiwan as I am about Russia.
Yeah, but
You know what we can hope for?
know they would
That most
align.
of Russia and China's nukes aren't well kept up because they can't afford to, because it's actually super expensive to keep up a nuke arsenal. It's super
But even if they
expensive.
don't have
And
nukes, they're definitely
there's a
saying
really good chance that their nukes have not been kept up well and they don't work.
But even if they don't have nukes and they just bomb the shit out of each other with not nukes, that's still a problem.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I would think that
I'm
card would
more
have to
worried about
trigger first before there's the next escalation.
Honestly, it's so crazy, but like conventional doesn't scare me. Nukes do.
My only point is, I do think people have been pushing the idea that Taiwan and China are going to go at it at some point in time, and somehow America is like a pivoting point that if we're strong enough, they won't do it. I feel like that war would have to trigger before there's the next escalation.
Well, that's going to happen too. Exactly. I mean, that's just we're already we just stationed a bunch of special forces permanently in Taiwan recently. We just passed they passed a law in Taiwan recently to fund permanent U.S. presence in Taiwan, and we just stationed a shitload of special forces there. So, like, guys, World War III is coming. 100%. It is.
I don't think it's coming.
I pray and hope it's just conventional.
But the thing is,
what's the difference, Topple?
Any war would be coming.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between it's coming and it's close?
It's close. That means we're not at that breaking point.
It's probably going to happen in our lifetimes, I think.
But I don't think what we're doing right now, supplying all the bombs and all that stuff, it's just hyperdriving it towards World War III.
It's arming it.
What's that? It's
arming it.
It's blood on her hand. I don't care what anybody says. That's blood on our hands too.
Yeah. Moving chess pieces. We're definitely moving chess pieces. I don't know how our relation with China and Taiwan works, besides the fact that we back them because they are.
We need that island.
Production.
We need that island.
For industry.
Well, industry and also beyond
semiconductors.
Yes.
Semiconductors. That's what it was. But you're saying geographic.
Geographic reasons too. Yeah, you got Japan there too, but if they take that, there's.
Oh man.
What's he do? Oh wait.
No, go ahead, Free Trump.
What? No, go ahead.
Like, go ahead, man. You're fine.
You've piqued curiosity. I don't know what it was about exactly, but
don't mute. We're enjoying it.
Before the night does end, I don't know if Aphid, you want to show that wrap job for that taco truck or whatever it is, but that was some bomb ass artwork that you wrapped. So I know you didn't do the artwork for it, but it was a sweet wrap job, especially if they saw what was under it.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you only work like 40 hours without sleeping to do that.
Yeah,
so
that's all.
Where's the other one?
So, what do you do? It's just a sticker with a squeegee that you have to work with, or have I been
yeah, it's
brilliant?
just that.
That's it. You just squeegee that shit on.
One smooth surface.
Little Windex.
No 3Ds.
Sprayed in.
Yeah. No wet apply. No wet apply. Just a heat gun. A heat gun, and
a lot of tedious.
I mean, yeah, it's
dude, that van was tedious.
There's thousands of rivets on that thing,
and all the little strips on the and he has like perfectly lined up wrap work on the little strip, and then going to the next one. Man, I wouldn't have the patience for that shit.
Yeah, because I'm working with 4-foot panels, and that thing it was 6 panels wide, so 24 feet, and each panel has to be lined up with the next panel, and that's hard to do when there's like a big there's several ridges. I mean, this is boring conversation probably.
Not really.
I'm not bored at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
I'm not bored at all. Keep talking.
We're interested in this.
Keep talking, boy.
You're turning them on, bro.
I wrapped a food truck this last week, Drone Tech. That's what
that's
they're asking me about.
I went to art school.
Yeah, I was
a
listening.
printmaker.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Dance, can you bring that picture up on Discord without any doxing type stuff?
Only if
toxin.
Yeah, I'm in a weird place tonight, RW.
So do you do that?
Probably a bad idea.
Do you wrap?
Right, that's cool.
What's that? I'm sorry, Drone Tech.
Hey, I was just asking Aphid, is that what you do? Or like put cool ass wraps on cars and shit?
That and amongst other things, yes.
printing
Excellent.
and OSHA will show up, find the shit out of you.
I mean, I'll just be honest with you guys real quick. Some serious events happened to me about my privacy tonight, so I'm kind of in a weird place. So.
Really?
Did we?
I'm sorry, man.
Did we do that?
I don't know what happened. to
No.
No,
Before he
you
came
didn't.
out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
'Cause I would never want to do that to anyone.
No.
I'm sorry. Whatever happened to you, man?
He
Yeah, it's
found a
not
camera in his bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Found out that the person that was selling the
What?
pictures.
You found a camera in your bathroom?
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
No.
I didn't
You can
that.
find him on OnlyFans now.
What?
Yeah.
That would be
Wait a minute.
probably less.
This all
painful
makes
than what's
sense
going on.
now. I knew, Aphid. There was something about you.
Oh, Aphid, I had to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Topple.
I agree with
You're the out of everybody here, Topple. You have the right to say whatever you want to say.
Thank
What?
you. I agree with you 100% about Candace Owens now. Trying to ban porn, and I'm done with her.
Candace
She
Owens
was trying to ban porn.
Or
Candace
that's what
Owens
they're
is
saying.
So she saw what you're saying is percentage wise. She saw that was a popular talk to hit her mark.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
She went with it.
You're supposed to say, "What a jerk! Fuck that." That's what you're supposed to say.
I'm too normal for this conversation.
No, there's a lady present. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oops. Our manner. Oh,
I'm about as big of a fan as Candace Owens as I am Ted Cruz. They're close to the same level.
That's good running mates.
Rogan, I can never watch her again.
Who?
Joe Rogan show.
I said after Candace did that her first Rogan, when she was on
okay.
Rogan, I could
Look
not
at you,
watch
Last
her
Dance.
ever again because it was not good.
I have never fully watched any of his episodes before. For as popular as he is, I've never watched a full Joe Rogan or listened to one.
We started watching him like early, so it wasn't like overblown like how it is now. Because I think maybe like 2014 we started watching Rogan.
He was doing podcasts all the way back in 2014.
2009.
He had a YouTube.
What?
He did YouTube.
Yeah.
Man, I thought he was doing like Fear Factor and all that shit. I didn't realize he was.
Well, up
that was
until
early
then,
2000.
then he was like, "Hey, this is cool." So like he got into it, and I mean, he was retarded like when he started out, but
It depends on his guest. I will watch clips depending on the guest.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Like, I'll go through phases where I'll watch him for 6 months straight, and I'll watch every single episode until just like
really?
line it up. But then I'll go through like I won't watch it for a year. It's
What is it that you like from his show? Is it the topics that he covers, or how he communicates with people, or what gives him that popularity edge?
I like the guest, and I like that it's a conversation. If he's on a stretch of really shitty guests, I won't listen to it because.
Okay. Do you think he's biased at all?
For mushrooms, perhaps.
Yeah, but he's left. He's a leftist.
Oh, he's not left. He's more center.
That's what he claims to be.
Well, he was he liked Barry Sanders.
No, but he's center.
Colonel Sanders. Big KFC fan.
I love Colonel Sanders.
Well, he's center, but
Bernie Sanders.
And I'm center too.
Right, I remember him.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Beer hugs. But I mean,
What are you drinking? What are you drinking there, Drone Tech?
Unicorn.
The
beer hugs.
Goose Island Neon Bear Hug is delicious. Highly recommend it. I love
Is
it.
it fruity or something?
Cheer-
Like, is it a
Cheers
girly?
to everybody else out there.
No,
Hold up
it's
a glass,
these
take a drink.
These ones are really special. These ones are really good.
you gotta really try them if you like beer. It's the best tasting beer I've ever had.
Yeah.
Dude,
they're-
Topple, if you had a Camelback on, would you have iced tea in that bladder?
Yes.
What?
Dude,
Yes.
What the
crazy,
fuck is
man.
wrong with you?
I live off caffeine all day.
And pure fructose corn syrup.
Well, no, it's watered down. It is watered down.
In my hand.
There we go.
Caffeine.
So, guys,
Are you? You're more in the South. Are you? Do you like sweet tea?
Who?
Aphid.
Oh,
Me?
Yeah.
South?
Do you like
What?
sweet tea?
I'm in the middle of America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like sweet tea though. Yeah.
It's just amazing how sweeter it gets as you get closer to North Carolina. It's like, good God, they don't even add water to the concentrate anymore here.
me and RW both don't know where St. Louis is.
Yeah, dude. Me and geography don't
Yeah,
play
we do.
together. We're enemies.
Somehow, I drove through it though.
South is relative, man.
I did.
Been
No, I have. I saw.
I know you're way up in the north, dude. Ohio, dude.
Yeah, I'm in Ohio.
You're not in the South. I know that much.
You're not what?
You're not in the South.
Oh no.
As
Yeah, I mean,
as an Ohioan.
I wasn't saying that.
St. Louis is close enough to Ohio where you'd think you'd have a general idea of the location.
I've never had. I passed through it as a child to see the arch myself and like go up in it and that little like washing machine that goes up to the top. But that's my experience there. I never went back. I never knew where it was. I just I don't know, why would I go there again? What do they have there that I need to know about?
Missouri.
Speaking of us all being so smart, did
Missouri,
anybody see the spelling
right?
bee champion?
No.
That was
Was it an Asian kid or Indian kid this time?
he was Indian.
Okay.
In fact, it was real interesting that you brought that up.
Yeah, I was right.
The two
right.
it came down to like a timed thing where they had to spell out words because there was two kids.
Oh, I drove
and
through
they looked like twins.
can't break them.
They were both little Indian kids. They looked like the exact
So
same
what was
kid.
the word? What was the
They all
word?
look alike to you.
What was the word that flunked the second guy out?
No, I think it was a time thing. So I think the one that got more words in the allotted time, however long it was the one that won. This just
So they
happened, I
could
believe,
actually make
last night.
mistakes? They could.
No, they couldn't make mistakes, but these kids are so good these days they don't make mistakes. Well, I mean, not American kids,
They're doing
not
better.
these these idiot American kids. It's
Well, TikTok.
these damn immigrants that keep coming over here and winning the shit. Just like the races. I mean, it's those Kenyans. Those Kenyans win.
I don't think it's
Man.
We're not echoing in the stream, right? Us?
No.
I just repeat. Everything I say twice, so it appears to be a repeat.
We don't hear it anymore. It's like the Matrix. You just see blonde, redhead. It only speaks once to us.
Excellent.
Pick a topic, Aphid. Give us your list, man.
It was like
Well,
my
I
dad.
had a topic to talk about. I was actually gonna make a video of a aphid lip minute, and I know this doesn't you guys don't. I think I'm the only one that has experienced the wrath of the dual brood cicada situation.
Oh,
is that true? Nobody else has experienced.
I have not.
This year we did not.
Topple.
Didn't you have a tornado that just went through
Doesn't
there?
that happen like every
Not
year
too far.
now?
That's
No, it does not happen every year. There's every year there we do have cicadas, but those
Right.
broods are different. So this year, not only do we have our normal, there's different kinds
Yearly.
of cicadas apparently. So
Right.
not only do we have our normal cicadas, we had these, it's like 14 years or 17 years. They're underground until they come out and be cicada.
Yeah,
And then
that's
there's
what I'm
another
saying,
one
man.
that's like eight years or something.
I
that
thought it
is
was
in the
7
ground
and
all the time.
14.
It could
Yeah,
be.
that-
I don't know. I don't know the
I
numbers.
feel like everybody every year says this shit. What you're telling
No,
me.
don't. This is.
No,
let me
it's
tell
not.
you.
I thought
Let
it
me
was
tell you.
17
This
and
was.
Well,
This was different.
We just went through that like just
Am
a
I just
couple
getting
years.
really old and
And
does it just feel like it happens every year?
It wasn't that bad.
I'm
Oh, it
50 years
happened last
old,
week. It
and
happened
I
before
think that this is
Becoming-
the
am I
worst
just seeing
in
now?
my lifetime that it's ever been here. In
How's it
my,
affecting you right now? How's it affecting
Well,
you right now?
it has affected my sanity because
affected
you
because
cannot.
they're
You can't go outside without the noise of it is so loud. It is ear piercing.
You'll be all right.
And
survive that.
so
Trying to do
besides
his
that,
thing
if
in
you're
the woods,
if you're
you know,
inside the
and
house,
then
if you're
bugging 'em.
inside the house and you walk through, let's say you walk from one end of the house to the other. Yeah. If you
Right.
walk from one, these help. These help.
Are you serious?
If you're-
That bad?
He's a very.
It is that bad. It is that bad. If you walk from one end of the house to the other, every time you pass a window,
Well, I think that like
you experience, it gets louder when you're passed by the window.
Yeah, it's by my
Yeah.
house.
Do you have PTSD, Aphid? I
Thanks
might
for-
after this year. But okay, so this is why I brought it up. Last Dance is showing the heavy population. If you look in the center of that red mass, that's me.
Yeah,
You're more right there.
See, the
Last
thing
Dance
is,
knows
I
his
was-
geography and is pointing out where I am.
No, I think it's farther south.
But this is this is the reason why I bring it up, because it's not just the overwhelming noise of these cicadas. Last Saturday night, me and my son went to go get we were doing some running, and he really wanted some. You can judge me if you want. He wanted some orange flavored chicken.
Okay.
Yes, he wanted some orange flavored chicken from Panda
It always
Express.
goes back to Chinese food with you.
From
Yes.
Costco.
So we got the Panda Express, and then we went and sat. It was still like sundown, so we went and sat in the shade in an empty parking lot, and so we're sitting there, and the sun is shining underneath this full tree that is just decimated with cicadas, and it looks like the tree is raining. Everything else, the sun is out. There's nothing coming out. It looks like the tree there's drips constantly coming from this tree. So then we notice the cicada drop down and do like this little loop in the air. And as he's doing this loop, a bunch of droplets are coming out of the cicada.
Yep.
So we
Making
realize
it rain,
that
baby.
it's the cicadas that are making these drops. So I Google it while we're sitting there, and it's urine. These cicadas drop urine like crazy. Like
close-up video with
if you want to see something special, Google or go to the YouTubes and YouTube
shower.
You get some
cicadas
showers.
urinating, and you will see what I'm talking about. So there was thousands, tens of thousands of cicadas in here, and I was telling my son as we're eating this, crap orange flavored chicken from Panda Express. I'm like, just think it's a hot day. It was like 90 degrees. I'm like, you go underneath this tree with your lemonade, and it's like you can't escape the heat. The tree is the only thing you can get. And it was constant rain. The grass underneath this tree was wet. It was glistening with urine from these cicadas. And you're so hot, you can do nothing else but to quench your thirst with this lemonade from
So they pee
the
yellow?
shady tree.
No, it's
What?
clear.
They pee
Clear.
yellow?
Clear.
No, I'm saying you have a lemonade because
lemonade.
it's hot. It's a hot day. and you're
lemonade
escaping the
is
sun by
filled
going
with
underneath
urine
this
and
tree with your lemonade, not
you get
realizing that
into a
it's going to get
frenzy.
ounces of cicada urine into your lemonade.
Taste
Right.
the rainbow, dude.
Don't
and
walk
that's what you're
around.
drinking at this moment.
He's
Are you
remembering.
having a crunching
Yeah.
effect yet?
I'll turn off the
Walk
camera.
around?
Camera.
Are you having crunching effect when you walk around now?
Crunching effect.
Dead bodies. The
Dead
crunchy.
bodies and shit.
Oh, no, it doesn't bother me.
Oh, then stop complaining. You're
How
fine.
many windshield wipers did you replace over the last week?
We drove a little bit out of town. Was it last week? No, it was in the middle of the week. It was Monday, probably Memorial Day, and we hit 7 like right before we got off the exit to where we were going, and it was just and they're big. They're seriously like this big, those cicadas, and it does you feel it. The SUV stammers a little bit as it comes into contact with one of these cicadas.
Did you go to the trees and look at all the mutated, retarded ones? Because the last
No.
balloon that came in.
No, RW, I did not do that.
It's creepy. Like to me, that we were talking about climate change before and stuff.
Why didn't you do that, Aphid?
I don't know. I don't know.
Next time, there's next time. But
Aphid?
basically, there's a lot that are not formed correctly, and to me, that just stinks of
Yeah,
like.
Aphid, you kind of disgust the fuck out of me, motherfucker. I just gotta tell you.
Sorry,
Right now.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But I just thought, look, Drone Tech, I'm trying to do a service to you. If you are, or
if one of the dozens of people that are watching the show are watching this, and tomorrow, it's hot. They need to, get some shade with their lemonade.
Iced tea or something.
They need to know, don't go underneath that tree that has a bunch of cicadas in it, because your lemonade is going to be contaminated with a bunch of...
No, but maybe you could and you should, because there could be magical properties to that.
Exactly.
It could be healing. That's right. It could be. It might grow my hair back.
Report back to me on that one.
I will.
You can do your own individual research.
How about this? Are you keeping them out of your house right now?
I already went through that like 2 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
Are
I tried
you
it.
keeping them out of your
There
house
aren't
right now?
magical properties, but
No.
maybe
Are they coming out of my house?
Oh, no, are you keeping them out of your house right now?
Me and him went to some stores last weekend, and we went to a gas station, and they were on every single person that walked into the door to get their soda or to pay for their gas had one on their back.
I'm just happy not to.
Are you serious?
No, and when you walked into the
They're
place,
everywhere
when you
around
walked
here,
into the
too,
place,
but
you
not
could
that
not step. You
Yeah.
could not take a step without
not yet.
crunching on a cicada.
In 7 years.
Welcome to Walmart.
It happens.
Period.
It happens in my area.
I'm telling you guys, I'm 50 years old. I've experienced a lot of summers with cicadas, and this is the
Cicadas are
worst one I've ever experienced in my life.
Oh, sure.
There's times in our human lives that the bugs come out.
The bugs. You gotta
Yeah,
the bugs.
they do.
We get
I
the
prefer the
crickets,
sea bugs.
and we
There's
get
some real pretty
slugs
shit
around.
now, man.
Slugs.
Yeah,
I would be saying that
Bugs.
everywhere, Aphid.
Bugs.
Every store I went in, every person I'd like run into with bugs on them, I'd be like, "We're some real pretty shit now, man."
I would describe the last 20 minutes as first world problems.
First world problems with bugs on
Sorry.
you. We should have lasers that shoot these bugs off of you in this first world.
You can probably buy those on Temu.
Oh yeah, get little lasers you wear on your head.
Yeah, maybe like a hat, like the
Zap-
propeller hats, but it's got like a turret.
Take my money.
They zap them off of you. That'd be amazing. I would love it. I would
There are
get it.
guys that have developed the little turrets that shoot lasers at mosquitoes and flies and kill them. So it's just a matter of time.
Oh my god, I want it.
So what else do you guys talk about?
I want to keep on this topic. I'm cool on the
Cicada bugs? You want
laser
bugs?
shooting topic.
Come on. No.
Mosquitoes?
Cicadas are cool.
It's cracking me up. This
Are
thought of
Cicada
it.
killers are really cool, though.
What's
Yeah,
a
they are.
cicada?
Cicada killers are more
Fucking
impressive. For
humongous
sure.
bee.
That's right.
It's a
Oh
wasp.
really? Oh yeah, those things. Yeah.
Do they only come out once every 17 years?
Are those the
You know,
Asian
I haven't
bugs?
seen any
Are those
cicada
Asian
killers this
bugs,
this
the
summer.
Asian ones that are over there?
Ladybugs.
They look-
Is it-
Ladybugs.
Asian. They're
Those
big.
Those damn Asian interlopers.
Immigration.
God damn her. Come
You
on.
guys-
Oh,
you guys
we
must
love the Asians here in our house.
You guys are.
Trust me.
What?
We eat rice.
Oh my.
Have you seen the videos on YouTube of them creating rice out of plastic that they mix in with real rice?
No.
No.
Yeah, that
I
was.
don't
that
need
was
that, so
exciting.
that's good.
Why would you do that?
I really don't know.
I don't know why
Pretty
they
much.
would do that.
Thank you.
Besides,
much.
they were actually starving to death like a North Korea situation. It's like, here, you can chew
Well-
it at least.
I don't think you can digest plastic.
No, I'm
humans.
pretty sure you just crap it out. It'd be good roughage.
It almost seems
maybe.
like